Killed the Pharaoh. A thriller serial in 8 episodes by Victor Pemberton. Kill the Pharaoh, Episode 1, Village of the White Scorpion.
I'm sorry, I don't speak Arabic.
Then I will speak English. Is the seat taken, please?
Oh, I do beg your pardon. No, of course not.
Thank you, dear lady. Thank you. The air condition. I always say if one has to travel on a train in Egypt, one must always pay the extra for the air condition.
Will it get much hotter, do you think?
Oh, dear lady, we have only just left Cairo. By the time we reach the south, those poor devils in the second class will not be able to breathe.
Oh, so much for my travel agent. He assured me I'd find Egypt much cooler in October.
Then it is your first time down to Luxor?
Yes.
Oh, you will have much to see.
I feel as though I already know the place. My father used to tell me so much. You see, he was an Egyptologist. Sir Richard Warwick.
Sir Richard Warwick? Excavator of great tomb at Harshak in the Valley of the King?
Yes, that's right.
Dear lady, this is fantastic coincidence. I knew him well.
Really?
Of course. All Egypt remembers this man. But for him, the great tomb would still be covered beneath the sand.
Do people still go there to see the tomb?
There is nothing to see, dear lady. It is a great sadness to me that since departure of your father, the tomb has remained exactly as he found it, lonely in the sand and dust, high up in the hills above the Valley of the Kings. And still, we have no hope to find name of Pharaoh who may once have rest there.
With all due respect, Mr. What does he want?
He is policeman. He asked to see your passport.
Oh. Is this a normal procedure on your trains?
Not at all. I think maybe they look for someone.
There you are.
Shukran.
Thank you.
The policeman asked how long the man in corner has been on train. Do you know?
Most of the time, I think. Oh, since Cairo.
Min Masa.
What's happening? What are they doing?
They are going to take him off the train.
What's wrong with him? Why is he staring at me like that?
Don't be frightened, dear lady. He is drunk. He will be taken off the train at the next station until he has time to recover.
That man was not drunk.
No?
I happen to be a doctor. He looks a very sick man, but whatever it is, I can assure you he is not drunk.
Excuse my ask, dear lady, why do you wait here on platform?
A friend of my father is supposed to be meeting me. I don't know what's happened to him.
If I may suggest, railway station is not a good place for unaccompanied lady to wait. The sun takes only a few moments to set. Soon it will be dark. To which hotel do you go?
Oh, the Winter Palace.
I tell you, we shall take an Arabana, a horse carriage. Oh. If we hurry, we shall still see the sun disappear behind Temple of Luxor. Now, dear lady, you are really in land of the Pharaohs.
Oh, dear.
I hope it's not bad news.
It's a letter from my friend, the one who was supposed to meet me. He says his father's been taken ill. He can't leave the village.
Ah, a disappointment.
And he wants me to take a boat and go out there first thing in the morning. Must be pretty serious. He'd never have done this.
What village is this?
Oh, a place called Hazia. Do you know it?
Hazia?
Oh, is it that bad?
Oh, no, just that it is a small village, 5, maybe 6 miles from Luxor, on the banks of the Nile.
Oh, sounds fun.
I hope you will think so, dear lady. The Nile is in bad flood. For many years, we have not such disaster. However, if you need help to get boat, I am entirely at your disposal. My shop is very close to quayside.
Oh, you have a shop?
I am dealer in rare antiquities. None better in whole Upper Egypt. And, of course, for the daughter of Sir Richard Warwick, I give very special price. Here, I am going to give you my card. There, do you see? Mahmoud. That's me.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm Elizabeth Warwick, and I'm very pleased to know you, Mr. Mahmoud, and I shall most certainly visit your shop.
Splendid, splendid. We shall talk, drink mint tea, and talk some more. But if I may warn you, dear lady, when you go to village of Hasia, please do be careful.
Careful? Why?
You may find it a little, shall we say, primitive.
Oh, it's quite all right, Mr. Mahmoud. I don't think you need worry about that. I am not used to afternoon tea and cakes, even in England.
Do sit down, Miss Warwick.
Oh, thank you.
The waiter told us you were joining our table tonight. It's an honor for us. Oh, quite a celebrity around here. We saw your picture in the local newspapers.
Oh, really?
I'm Charles Villiers. This is my wife, Margaret.
How do you do?
Hello. Welcome to the land of the Pharaohs. I hope you brought your mosquito spray. You'll certainly need it.
Are you on holiday, Mr. Villiers?
More or less. Maggie and I have been saving up for this for 10 years. It's been a bit of a struggle, but we've finally made it.
Are you interested in Egyptology?
Only what I've read. My unit was out here for a time in the good old days, you know.
It's a beautiful country, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about beautiful, but it's certainly not without interest.
Palm trees, desert, and mosquitoes.
I was very sorry to hear about your father. It must have been a big shock for you.
Yes.
Terribly sad to think he never had the chance to finish off his work up at that tomb. Tell me something, Miss Warwick. Is it true that when your father dug up that place, he found it absolutely empty?
Yes, it's true.
But surely, in most of the tombs they found not only the remains of the king, but most of his treasures.
In this case, nobody knows if this was the tomb of the king. It wasn't in the valley itself, but in the hills above.
And the treasures?
Well, if there were any, they could have been taken by robbers at any time. Right back through the centuries.
Fascinating.
When I'm dead and buried, I don't want anyone to dig me up again.
Maggie, that's enough wine.
Charlie, don't be such a...
Did you hear what I said? No more wine.
Now look what you've done. You've spilled it all over my dress.
Sorry about this, Miss Warwick. Too many cocktails before dinner, I'm afraid.
Oh, that's quite all right. Dash the mosquitoes. I do see what you mean. They've got a nip like a pin.
Yes, I'm afraid you've come at rather a bad time for the mozzies. They're all over the place. What a menace.
That's nothing. You wait till you get to that village downstream.
I beg your pardon? What village?
We mean you're bound to be having a look at some of the villages along the Nile. Most people do. Some lovely little places.
Really? I thought the Nile was in flood.
Yes,
They'll
but...
bite you. Yes, they'll bite you, all right.
Maggie. I'm sorry, Miss Warwick. I think I'd better take my wife upstairs. She's not feeling very well. If you'll excuse us.
Of course.
I'm all right. I can manage. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, if you do happen to need a boat at all, we can put you onto a good boatman.
Thank you.
A nice little chap. Took us on our trip to Aswan and back. Just mention our name, Villiers. He'll know.
Oh, good. I'll do that. Oh, how do I find him?
Or you'll find him down on the quayside near the hotel. Ask for Araby. Achmed Araby.
Lady, you want boat? I have best boat in whole Upper Egypt.
Lady, this man lies. His boat will sink after 2 minutes. 2 minutes, lady.
Look, lady, do not listen to these men. They are peasants. My boat is best for you.
But for you, lady, I give special price. 10 piastres to go to Banana
Lady,
Island.
7 piastres.
6
Banana
piastres.
Island.
5 piastres, lady. Where in whole Luxor you find such a bargain?
Look, how many more times do I have to tell you I do not want to go to Banana Island?
Oh, you'll not go Banana
No,
Island?
Crocodile Island or anywhere else. Now then, which of you is Achmed Araby? Well,
Here is Achmed.
are you sure?
Sure. I am Achmed, son of Nile. My boat is best of all. You have made wise choice, lady. You will see.
Which is your boat, Achmed?
There, the one with white sail, blue wood. Horus, god of the sun.
I want to go to the village of Hasia. Oh, what's wrong? Where are they all going?
My boat is not for hire today.
Oh, what are you talking about? You just said...
Not today. There is no breeze. Water too difficult. Horse not sail today.
20 piastres.
Not today.
Well, what's wrong with you? Don't you want the business? 1 minute you say you will, the next you won't. Look, Achmed, I was recommended to you by Mr. and Mrs. Villiers. Do you know them?
They're my friends, sure.
Then why won't you take me to Hasia?
Many floods.
I know there are floods, but I've still got to get there just the same. I have to meet a friend.
What friend do you have in Hasia?
A young man called Fuad Yassif. Do you know him? Well, he used to work in the valley with my father.
I don't know this man.
If you know the people in Hasia, you must know Fuad. He's lived there all his life.
I don't know this man. My boat is not for hire today.
All right, Ahmed Araby. If your boat is not for hire today, I'm sure the tourist board will be only too happy to make sure it is not for hire any day. Now, are you going to take me to Hasia, or aren't you? You're a very good boatman, Ahmed. For how long?
Lady, I'm born of Nile. Before me, my father and his father.
And do you never leave Luxor?
Oh, yes. I've been to Cairo and to Alexandria. Very beautiful.
You mean you go all the way to Alexandria by boat?
Of course. Or it's like to have the holiday. Look. There is your village.
Where?
There, by the big trees. You see?
Oh, yes. Oh, it looks very beautiful. I can't see anybody. Oh, and just look at all that flood water. Hello? Hello, is anyone in there? Hello? Oh, damn, where are they all? Oh, well, here goes. Hello? Hello, is anyone in here?
Who are you, Englishwoman? What are you doing in my house?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't see you standing there in the corner.
What do you want?
Well, I've been wandering around the village for the last half hour. There doesn't seem to be anyone about. The floodwater's very deep.
You should not come to Hassi.
Well, I'm looking for someone, a friend.
What friend?
Yassif. Fuad Yassif. I was supposed to meet him here.
I don't know this man.
Don't know him? But he lives here. He's lived here all his life.
There is no such man in Hassia. All the people gone.
Where have they gone?
Go back to Luxor. You are not welcome here, Englishwoman.
Oh, you're ill. Please, let me help you.
You will not touch me, not touch.
I don't want to hurt you. I'm a doctor. Look, you can't stay in this place. The floodwater is stagnant. You're leaving yourself wide open to any amount of disease. Well, you can see for yourself. Look at the mosquitoes in here. It's uncivilized.
Uncivilized. Yes, so many times I hear this word in my life. Always they tell Abdullah to start new life. Once it was the British, now even the Arab. When will you let me live old life before I start the new?
What was that? There's someone in the next room.
No.
I tell you that...
Go back to Luxor. You have seen nothing. Nothing.
What do you mean? Who have you got in that room? Let go of my arm, Mr. Abdullah. I'm going in there.
No, come back.
Look at the state of this man.
My brother is sick. You cannot help him.
Sick? You must be out of your mind keeping him here in all this stench. Get out of my way. I want to have a look at... Who did this to him? This man's been beaten up.
After one night, my brother will be well again.
Oh, no. After one night, your brother will not be well again. This man is going to die. You must help me get him to a hospital.
He will not go to hospital. He stay here, where he belongs.
Then your brother will die.
In this village, we are not afraid to die.
Are you mad? How can you leave your own brother
Why you come, Egypt, Englishwoman? Your father is dead now.
Then you do know who I am.
You bring us nothing but trouble.
What's happened to Fuad? Where is everybody?
Why you stand with back to wall? Do you scare of me?
No, my friend. I am not scared of you.
Good, good. Then look to the wall, there by your face. You do not have the white scorpion, England, no? Here, I make gift to you.
You fool! Don't touch it. It's a white scorpion. It's deadly.
Scorpion.
Maniac.
Did they not tell you in Luxor they call Hassia the village of the white scorpion? She's our friend. Look, do you see? She does not move my hand. She stops to watch you.
Get out of my way.
Look to the shadows, English woman. Even now they begin to fall across the river. In half hour it will be dark. Without boat you will have long journey.
What do you mean without... Oh, no. Achmed! Achmed!
She's not back.
What did you expect?
We'll give her another half hour, then I'll check.
If you ask me, our little friend Achmed is playing a double game. He's far too fond of the bakshish.
I don't think so.
Well, I do.
You're not asked to think. Just keep sober. Anyway, why this sudden concern? You're not usually so considerate.
The whole thing makes me feel quite sick. I wish we could just forget about it and go back home.
We will, when we've finished what we have to do.
That may be too late. Charlie, I don't like it. She's out there in that village, in the dark, all alone.
Achmed! Achmed! Ahmed Araby, where are you? Achmed! If it wasn't so dark, I could find my own way out of the... Who's that? Who's that? Achmed? Is that you? I know you're there. I may not be able to see you, but I know you're there. Did you hear what I said? Abdullah?
To my friend, lady? Sure.
Achmed, what do you mean by leaving me out here alone? Where have you been?
River too strong for boat, lady. Achmed, wait at the side.
Oh, don't you ever dare do that to me again. Do you understand, Ahmed Araby?
Yes, lady.
Now tell me, what happened to all the villagers? What have they done with Fuad Yassif? I want to know.
Gone, lady. All people gone.
Where have they gone?
Into hills, lady. Too many, the floods.
Is Fuad with them? Oh, please, Achmed, if you know, you've got to tell me. What's that glare over there? It's a fire.
We go now,
That's
lady.
Abdullah's house.
We go back to
I
boat.
tell you, I was there a little while ago. Look, it's burning. We've got to do something.
No, lady, no. It is the will of Allah.
What do you mean? It's his brother. Abdullah's brother. He's dead, isn't he? That's why they're
You
burning.
must understand, lady. For Arab, it is no shame to die.
Yes, but that poor man...
We believe it's more honor to die than to live. So it has always been. So must it be now.
Mr. Mahmoud, I've just got back from the village of Hassia. Do you remember the man the police took off the train yesterday in our compartment?
The man who was drunk?
I found him in a filthy-looking hut owned by a man named Abdullah. Somebody had beaten him up. He was in a dreadful state.
But this is terrible. We must call the hospital immediately.
Oh, it's too late. The man is dead.
And the other villagers?
Gone, the whole village. I can't understand what's happening out there. Who was that man? Do you think he was following me or something?
What of your friend? Was he not in the village to meet you?
No, and I don't believe he had any intention of being there.
Not? Dear lady, what do you mean?
Well, that message I got at the hotel, I don't think Fuad wrote it. Well, somebody wanted to get me out there. That's all I know.
Dear lady, you must go back to hotel. Rest.
Yes, but...
I myself will telephone police inspector. He is a very good friend of mine. After dinner, you go to see him at police station. Tell him all you see at this village.
But if anything has happened to Fuad...
If it has, dear lady, we are going to know about it. That I promise you.
Can I help you?
Oh, yes. This is Miss Warwick in room 22. I shan't be eating in the dining room this evening. I'd like something in my room, please.
Room
How long will it take, please?
Few minutes only, madam.
Oh, that's fine, thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Who are you? What are you doing in my room? I only have to pick up this telephone.
Put down the receiver. Please. Thank you.
What do you want?
You are a little older than I expected.
If it's money you
but
want...
still very beautiful.
Did you hear what I said?
You have your father's eyes. Yes, Elizabeth, I am Fuad Yazif.
No, I don't believe you.
Your father took many pictures. You have only to look.
Oh, those pictures were taken a long time ago. If you are Fuad Yazif, why didn't you meet me off the train last night?
There was something I had to do.
Your instructions would...
My father died. We had to take him into the hills. There was no time to stop you from going to the village.
You might have left a message.
I tell you, there was no time.
All right, Fuad. I believe you. Now tell me, what is it you want?
Want?
You brought me all the way out from England. Why?
You know why.
Then tell me.
The tomb at Harshak.
What about it?
Your father told me that one day you and me would share a king's fortune.
And how would we do that, Fuad?
Don't play games with me.
Show me your hands, Fuad.
What are you?
Please. Thank you. My father often used to talk of a little boy with beautiful hands, long, thin fingers, almost delicate at the touch.
The maid, they brought your food.
And gentle, almost like a woman.
Please, Elizabeth, please.
These hands are very rough. They're used to hard work. Can I really trust you, Fuad? Can I?
Oh, excuse me. I'm awfully sorry to trouble you.
Oh,
It is Miss Warwick, isn't it?
why, yes.
The inspector told me you were coming here to the police station. I thought I'd come and see if I could be of any help. Oh, my name's Wilder. I represent a certain interest here in Luxor.
Oh, how do you do?
I heard about the frightful time you had in that village. I do really hope you're feeling better now.
Oh, yes, much, thank you.
It's jolly nice to have such a distinguished visitor in our midst, especially a British one. Now, unfortunately, your father was a bit for my time. I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but I gather from all the locals he was highly respected out here.
Yes.
No doubt you'll be carrying on the good work up at Harshak?
No.
Oh, but I thought...
I'm here as a tourist, Mr. Wilder, nothing more.
Oh, I do beg your pardon. I rather thought that... Well, it's the way Inspector Mahmoud was talking.
Inspector? Who, did you say?
Ah, dear lady, and Mr. Wilder, welcome, welcome.
You?
You see, dear lady, in Luxor I have many jobs. Antiquities, restaurant, taxi service, and in spare time, official tourist guide. A police job I like not much.
But why didn't you tell me?
Dear lady, you did not ask.
Inspector, I think it's time you told Miss Warwick one or two things about that village.
Oh, you mean Hazia?
My men have already reached this village about half an hour ago.
Yes, and?
Apparently, what you told the inspector is true. Well, almost.
And what's that supposed to mean?
It means, dear lady, that there are floods and that there is the wreckage of a burnt-out house.
Well, there you are.
But the village is not deserted.
What? Oh, don't talk nonsense. If you don't believe me, get hold of that Abdullah.
Which brings us to another question. This house, the one you saw burning, you say there were two men?
Yes.
One very sick?
Yes.
And the other, this Abdullah.
Nothing very much wrong with him, except sheer arrogance.
There were two charred bodies in the wreckage, Miss Warwick, not one.
What are you saying?
Just that something is going on in that village that we don't know about. You should never have gone there in the first place.
I should have warned you, dear lady. Hassia has reputation of its own. Even the police are reluctant to, shall we say, interfere in domestic affairs. But now, we must find your Fuad Yazif.
Oh, that won't be necessary. I've already seen him.
What?
Where was this?
Oh, he came to my hotel this evening. The whole thing's been a misunderstanding. His father died up in the hills. That's why he wasn't able to meet me.
But, Miss Warwick...
We are very happy for you, Miss Warwick. This is great relief.
Oh, thank you. All I want to do now is to forget the whole thing and try to enjoy myself for the next few days.
Yes,
of course.
Oh, so if you'll excuse me, I am very tired. I think a good night's rest will do me the world of good.
I am at your disposal, anytime.
You're very kind. Good night, Mr. Wilder.
Oh, goodbye. Any time you're passing my office, do drop in. It's in the new block near the station, first floor.
I will. Good night, Mr. I mean, Inspector Mahmoud.
Dear lady.
I'm very grateful.
Good night.
Nice girl.
Charming.
She knows the score all right. Still, I suppose being a doctor, you'd have to. I was looking up her father's file just before I came here tonight. She had a brother, you know, Michael, killed in the Suez fighting.
Yes.
You know?
Of course.
You never...
It is my job, Mr. Wilder.
Well, at least we don't have to worry about our Miss Warwick anymore. Especially now she's found this, Fuad Yassif chap. Mind you, you've got to hand it to her. Takes a lot of guts for a woman to go wandering down the Nile all alone. And in the dark.
Ali Wahad Yabba. Ali Inglesia. Ira.
What are you doing that for? Why are you having her followed?
For her protection, Mr. Wilder. That is all.
But why?
Because the man called Fuad Yassif was killed in car crash just 1 month ago.
Village of the White Scorpion was the first episode of Kill the Pharaoh, a thriller serial in 8 parts by Victor Pemberton. Elizabeth Warwick was played by Sheila Grant, and production for the BBC was by John TYDEMAN. Kill the Pharaoh. A thriller serial in 8 episodes by Victor Pemberton. Elizabeth Warwick, daughter of a famous archaeologist, is visiting Egypt to find the tomb her father had discovered before his death. At Luxor, she's met by Fuad, a young Egyptian associate of her father. But Fuad was killed 1 month before their meeting. Kill the Pharaoh. Episode 2, Into the Darkness.
Miss Warwick! Miss Warwick, over here! We've kept a place for you!
Oh, Mr. Villiers. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, what chaos! Is it like this every day?
It is if you want to cross the Nile first thing in the morning, my dear. Always best to get here early.
But fancy bringing all their livestock onto a passenger ferry. Surely they're not all going to the Valley of the Kings.
I'm afraid that's something we'll have to get used to, Miss Warwick. In Egypt, most of the people take their livestock around with them wherever they go. They're almost part of the family. Ask Maggie here, she'll tell you.
By the time we get to the other side, you'll have more fleas on you than you ever... Oh! Get away from me, you filthy brute!
So, where are you making for today, Miss Warwick? The Hashak tomb?
Possibly. I'm not quite sure yet.
Oh, it must be quite a big day for you, seeing the first time all the good work your father did. Let's hope you won't be too disappointed.
Why?
The authorities have rather let the place go to rot. No one goes up there anymore.
You know, Miss Warwick, the tomb is completely deserted. Well off the beaten track. Not the sort of place for a girl to go wandering off on her own. I know I wouldn't be brave enough.
Oh, I shall be quite all right. I'm meeting a friend. He used to work at the site with my father.
Ah, no worries then, as long as you've got someone with you. I mean, it can be pretty dangerous up there on those hill tracks, especially if you're not used to them.
Hill tracks?
Why, yes, the Hashak tomb isn't in the actual valley itself. You have to climb right up there, to the top of the Theban peak. You knew that, didn't you, Miss Warwick? Ah, we're off.
No. Look who's running along the quayside. Is that awful man?
Who is he?
It's Bertie Pringle. He's staying at our hotel. We usually try to avoid him.
Just look at that ridiculous Arab headdress. It's so embarrassing. Come on, boat. Get a move on. Get a move on.
Ah, so, Mr. Wilder, do you not feel good to have the air conditioned?
Yes, I do, Inspector, but I hardly find the town mortuary the ideal place for relaxation.
No, always do I come here for the air condition. Such a luxury after the heat of my office.
Ah, yes. Too bad our friends in the boxes over there can't enjoy the same luxury. So this is where they brought the body of Fuad Yassif after the car crash?
Yes, military police found him on hill just below Theban Peak. Oh, what was left of him.
Then how can you be sure it was the real Fuad Yassif?
That is the point, Mr. Wilder. We are not sure. It is why we come to mortuary to find out.
But this man who met Elizabeth Warwick at her hotel last night, why is he posing as Fuad Yassif? What does he want?
Also, we must find out.
She may be in danger.
My men keep watch at all times.
It needs only one mistake.
At all times, Mr. Wilder, at all times. Let us remember, if this man is the real Fuad Yassif, your lady will have nothing to fear. After all, he was close friend of Sir Richard Warwick.
Yes, as a child.
And now he is a man. Mr. Wilder, can you tell me why your Miss Warwick have come to Luxor?
Well, you should know your people in London issued the visa.
Visa? Oh, very funny.
Her passport is perfectly legal, if that's what you're implying.
Holiday? Do you think is true?
I don't see why not. Plenty of people do come here for holiday.
But Miss Warwick is different, is she not?
Different? In what way?
She is daughter of man who discovered tomb. Tomb without a mummy, without a treasure.
Now, look here, Mahmoud. That tomb has been empty for years. Nobody cares a damn about the place.
No?
Well, of course they don't. There's nothing to see. The Harshak tomb is nothing but a bare shell. You know that.
Yes.
So I can't see any possible reason why Elizabeth Warwick or anyone else should suddenly want to take an interest in the place.
No, Mr. Wilder, and neither can I.
Once outside the tomb of Ramesses, the visitor will not fail to become aware of the intense heat, and servants should be instructed well in advance to provide necessary refreshments for the return journey by carriage. Ladies are well advised to carry their parasols.
Parasol? What an absurd book.
Not at all, Mrs. Villiers. It happens to be one of the most authoritative guidebooks you can get. There's not a stone in Egypt he doesn't know about.
I'm sure.
But isn't it just a little bit out of date, Mr. Pringle? Well, surely servants and parasols went out years ago.
Yeah, I suppose so. And more's a pity.
You resent the change?
It's not the same Egypt I first came to when I was a kid. Well, what about you, Miss Warwick? Do you like these people?
I respect them, if that's what you mean.
Is that a fact? Oh, you do amaze me.
Oh, really? In what way?
Well, I mean, after the way they treated your father.
I can assure you, Mr. Pringle, if my father had been alive today, this is where he'd have been. Right here on this boat with me. You see, he loved Egypt and its people. As far as he was concerned, the Nile is a lot deeper than most of us think.
Well, let's hope he was right, Miss Warwick.
Oh, here's your chance to find out. Welcome to the Valley of the Kings.
A Christian? Fuad Yassif? Are you sure?
That is what it says in file, Mr. Wilder. Here you may look for yourself.
Oh. The only son of a Muslim family suddenly becomes a Christian. Why?
He worked for many years with Europeans. Perhaps it's natural.
He was very young, only 23.
Tragic?
There's no photograph.
Alas, no.
Then I don't see how you're going to find out if this man with Elizabeth Warwick is a fake or not.
We shall find out.
Do you mind telling me how?
Before we know about second Fuad Yassif, we must look to the first.
You mean you'll exhume the body?
You have not seen dead body before, Mr. Wilder?
Usually I try not to see them after they've been buried. Which graveyard?
The Roman Catholic Church here in Luxor.
I don't think they'll like that very much. Are you sure they'll give you permission?
I think we may rely on Captain Aziz to take care of this.
Captain Aziz? What's he got to do with this?
Captain is in charge of military police. We work together very closely, particularly on matter of security.
Security? So now I suppose you think Elizabeth Warwick is some kind of spy?
We only wish to protect this lady.
Then where is she now?
Her Fuad Yassif take her to the Valley of the Kings.
Fuad? You let her go out there alone with that man after what happened in the village of Hazia last night?
Do not be alarmed, my friend.
Alarmed? Are you out of your mind or something? She should have been warned about that man.
No. To catch the gander, we must watch the goose.
She could be killed.
Always we have watched the goose from the first moment.
Mahmoud, are you actually telling me that you've been following Elizabeth Warwick ever since she arrived in Egypt? Why, Mahmoud? For heaven's sake, why?
Because, my friend, although Sir Richard Warwick have many friends in Egypt, he also have certain enemies. And not all of them rest here in mortuary.
Oh,
I am so glad you have come, Elizabeth. Welcome.
Thank you, Fuad. Well, which way do we go?
There is a road which leads to the western slope. Then we must start the climb up to the peak.
I've been told the tracks are rather primitive. Do we have a guide?
Oh, there is no need for a guide.
Why not?
You forget. Fuad Yassir is very familiar with the journey to Harshak. You trust him, don't you, Elizabeth?
Do I have a choice?
Maybe.
Which is?
To go alone.
It's probably safer.
Probably.
How long will it take? It's getting very hot.
Oh, in 1 hour and a half we shall be at the Harshak tomb.
Do we have a car?
No car. The road is too bad.
No car? Then how are we expected... You mean we have to go all the way up that mountain on one of these donkeys?
But of course. What did you expect?
Achmed, are you sure about this? Absolutely sure?
Yes, Mr. Villiers. Sure, I'm sure.
Where did you see this man?
The cafe in Market Square. 2 times I have seen with my own eyes. 2 times.
Charlie, it must be him. It's got to be.
Well, there's nothing we can do about it now. We'll have to wait till we get back this evening.
No, Charlie, don't be a fool. We've got to go to that cafe now.
We'll wait until this evening, I tell you. If we turn back now, it'll look too suspicious. Achmed, go and get the car.
Yes.
We'll do some sightseeing in the valley.
Yes. We're going to lose him. I know we're going to lose him.
Maggie, now listen to me. We've waited a long time for this chance, and we're not going to waste it just for the sake of a few hours.
Yes,
We're going to find that boy, I promise you. But we're not going to throw away everything we've been working on for all these months. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, then. So let's just go out to the valley. That's odd.
What is it?
The girl. She's got someone with her, an Arab. They're going up to Harshak by donkey.
She said she was meeting a friend.
Yes, but look who's also following the track.
It's Pringle. Mr. Pringle.
Ya Allah, Ruawam!
Inspector Mahmoud. This is an unexpected pleasure. What brings you to Harshak?
It's long time since we met, Mr. O'Hara. But your school looked better than always. Never have I seen so many children.
They seem to come from all over the place.
It is good work you do in the village. Our government should be grateful.
The government let me stay, Inspector. I'm the one that's grateful. Now, what can I do for you?
Did you know Miss Warwick have come to Luxor?
Miss who?
A daughter of Sir Richard.
Elizabeth? Elizabeth Warwick? Here?
Since last night.
But I was a close friend of her father's. All that time we worked together up at the Harshak tomb. She might at least have written to say she was coming.
Have you never met this lady?
No, never. She was only a child during the excavations. But Sir Richard used to show me some of her letters. They both were very close, you know.
She also had a brother, did she not? The one that was killed at Suez.
Michael Warwick, oh yes. But there lies a very different tale. There was no love lost between father and son. The boy was a dirty word as far as the old man was concerned.
Mr. O'Hara, do you know why Miss Warwick should have come to Luxor?
Presumably a holiday. Isn't that why most people come?
Then you have not heard of the man Fuad Yassif.
Who?
Yassif. Fuad Yassif. It was he who have invited Miss Warwick to Luxor.
Is that a fact? Well, I'm glad at least someone knew she was coming. No, Inspector, I can't say I know the fella.
Mr. O'Hara, for how many years now do you have the school here in Harshak?
Oh, you should know that, Inspector. Must be all of 15 years, if not more.
15 years is long time to teach peasant children to face world with a better mind.
You needn't worry about that, Inspector. Most of these kids have a mind of their own. The only thing I have to offer them is a basic education.
But you must love them very much after 15 years.
Yes, I suppose I must do.
And even after they have gone, you do not forget them.
Forget? I bet you I remember the names of every one of the little devils.
Really?
Off by heart.
Very strange.
What's so strange about it?
That you should not remember the name of the small boy Fuad Yassif.
Yassif?
Why, yes. According to the file, he was a pupil for 2 years here with you at the school in Harshak.
Fuad! Oh, Fuad, please! Oh, not so fast! This heat's killing me. I can hardly breathe.
It's not good to stop for too long. The sun is very strong. 1 minute, then. You had better drink some water.
No, it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for all this dust. These flies have got teeth like pins. Oh, how much further do we have to go?
Oh, first, we must get to the other side of the peak. Then we shall be at the Harshak tomb in 1/2 hour.
It's such an odd feeling up here. To be able to look down on the Valley of the Kings, laid out like a vast graveyard. Now, why should a pharaoh build his tomb on the slopes of a mountain? Why not alongside all the others in the valley itself?
Ah, so you do believe Harshak is a pharaoh's tomb?
I believe, as much as anybody wants me to believe. Or as little. Just like those ants down there.
Tourists? They come to look with the eyes, not with the heart.
And yet they don't seem to come up here. Perhaps it's too dangerous, even for the ants.
Beware the goddess of the western peak. She strikes instantly and without warning.
Oh, what's that?
An ancient text.
What does it mean?
The danger is always with us.
Is that what you believe?
Oh, I am an Arab. I have to be prepared to face danger at all times, even death. Are you afraid to meet death, Elizabeth?
How extraordinary. You know, you're the second person to ask me that since I arrived. What is this obsession you all have with death?
For us, death is no disgrace. Like the pharaohs, it is something we work towards from the day we are born.
Oh, well, that's fine. As long as you don't forget that, with a bit of luck, there's an awful long time in between.
Perhaps. Shall we go?
Right.
Mr. Pringle! Hey, Mr. Pringle, can we give you a lift?
Oh, it's you, Mr. Villiers. What you doing up this far?
Isn't it a bit hot standing up here taking pictures all on your own?
Oh, no, I love it. You get a marvellous panoramic view of the whole valley from up here, especially on this Japanese job of mine. It's got a terrific zoom lens.
Can we give you a lift?
Oh, no, thanks all the same, Mrs. Villiers. I much prefer it this way, you know. I get car sick in the heat.
Well, rather you than me.
But you're not going up to Harshak, are you?
That old jump? Oh, no, I don't think so. Getting halfway up the Theban peak's quite enough for me for one day. I'll probably end up at the rest house, you know, with a glass of local beer and a siesta.
All right, I'll see you back at the hotel tonight, then.
Okie doke. Cheers. Bye.
Is he going up there, do you think?
Of course, where else?
I told you we should have got up there before that girl. There's going to be trouble. I know it. Achmed, are you sure there isn't another road we can branch off on?
No, lady. Tracks. Not good. Too little room.
Charlie, I don't like this. Oh, damn this place. What I couldn't do for a drink.
Hello, that's odd.
What?
Achmed, stop the car.
Yes, mister.
What is it?
Yes, I thought so. He's gone.
What are you talking about? Who's gone?
Pringle, he's left the road. I can't see him anymore.
No, Captain Aziz. I'm sorry, but if you want that type of information, you'll have to apply through the normal diplomatic channel.
Mr. Wilder, I am neither a diplomat nor a police officer. As a soldier, you have my word that all information I receive will be treated with the utmost secrecy.
Miss Warwick is already under close police observation. I really can't see what the military...
The military is not interested in the petty criminal, Mr. Wilder. Only in state security.
State security? Oh, no, Captain, even you.
It amuses you.
Well, what are you trying to tell me? That she's some kind of female James Bond or something? She's simply a tourist.
Her movements have not been that of a tourist. Last night she was in the village of Hazia.
Well, what's so wrong about that?
A Dervish village, Mr. Wilder. Also well known for its political bias. Miss Warwick was ill-advised to go there.
I'm sure she'd be the first to agree with you.
You forget her father was deported by the government of my country and that her brother was an officer in the British Army. He was killed fighting our people.
Plenty of people lost their lives.
Mr. Wilder, revenge is a good enough reason for spreading subversive propaganda.
Oh, really, Captain? What's wrong with you chaps? You seem to be scared of your own shadows.
We have good reason to be. The outside world has much to gain from our lack of experience.
My dear Captain, you're going on as though this girl came here to blow up the Aswan Dam or something. I think you're forgetting she's a guest in your country, not an enemy.
Everyone is a potential enemy until proved otherwise.
Yes, I suppose that's why nobody seems to understand each other anymore.
When I was at university in England, every person was fascinated in the ancient Egypt, the old way of life. But for we who have to live and work here, life has to be something more than just old temples. One day, Egypt is going to be known as something more than just the land of pharaohs. Things are going to change because they have to.
What's that?
Ah, only the tomb bats. They won't harm you.
Yeah, smells foul. Doesn't seem as though anyone's been here for years.
There is nothing here to interest the tourists. Now, somewhere around there should be an oil lamp. Ah. Now, matches.
What a place. But it's so different. Not a bit how I'd imagined.
Different?
It's much smaller. And the ceiling, it's set very low. I always thought these tombs were much more spacious. Everything's so bare. Not one single wall decoration.
Elizabeth, don't go too far. It may not be safe. Try to keep close to me.
You don't have to worry, Fuad. I'm not superstitious about a tomb.
It was not the tomb I was thinking about, only the inhabitants.
Inhabitant?
The cobra. Shall we go?
Can you see anything?
Pringle's talking to three men. One of them looks like a European.
Who are they? Can you see us?
No. Sun's too strong. I can't see a thing. Achmed, do you know any of them?
I think one man come from donkey station at Quayside.
Damn them flies.
Get down, will you, Margaret? Do you want him to see us?
I tell you, I'm bitten all over and I'm sick to death of stewing in this heat. Why can't we go back to the car?
Achmed, how much further do we have to go?
Very soon now, mister. Very soon.
You see?
I don't care. I can't stand this heat any longer. Please, let's go down to the rest house.
Will you sit down and shut up?
Mr. Villiers, quick. They look at something.
What?
Do you see? Up there.
Give me the binoculars. Yes.
Are they looking at us?
No, I don't think so. They seem to be looking up at the Hashak tomb.
Poor Yassif. Well, if there was such a boy working in Sir Richard's party, I certainly never knew him. And as far as his being a pupil at this school, you're more than welcome to check my school list, Inspector.
But you do agree there were children working for Sir Richard? Arab children?
Of course, the place was swarming with them nearly all the time. But they were just hangers-on, as far as I remember.
Mr. O'Hara, last night I was at the Department of Antiquities. Professor Fuad still insists that the tomb at Hashak is of no importance.
He's probably right.
But Sir Richard...
Sir Richard was a determined and patient man. He worked for years on the theory that other pharaonic tombs would be found outside the Valley of the Kings. That much he was right.
But Hashak is an empty shell.
That no one cares about.
Except Miss Warwick.
Miss Warwick?
I think maybe soon she will go there. Today, perhaps.
She's going all the way up to that tomb. Alone?
Not alone. She has friend. Fuad Yassif.
Yassif? But I thought you said he was dead, killed in a car crash.
Maybe he is dead, my friend. Maybe he is. But that we will find out tomorrow, when we open the coffin in the graveyard at Luxor.
Over here, Fuad. I want to have a look at this wall.
Ah.
Could you hold the lamp a little higher, please?
Of course.
Yes, you see, my father was right. There were hieroglyphics here, but they've obviously been scratched out. I wonder why.
Oh, tomb robbers. There must have been many over the centuries. It was quite common.
Oh, yes, I know. But why break into a place like this? There were never any treasures. They must have known it wouldn't be worth the time and effort.
Perhaps.
I suppose this was intended to be some kind of main hall. At least the ceiling isn't so low in here. Ah, and this must be the south wall.
You seem to know it.
Oh, I remember it from my father's diagrams.
But no photographs?
He never allowed photographs to be taken down here. Well, you must have known that.
Yes, of course.
Yes. It's really quite a barn of a place, isn't it? And I must say, it does have quite an extraordinary atmosphere. Its own special kind of peace.
No. There was never peace here.
I don't follow you. What do you mean?
When they broke into nearly all the other tombs in the valley, everything was still and quiet, as though one were peering into eternity itself. But not here.
Why?
During the excavations, we worked for months digging in the sand and rock outside. Nobody knew why. We just followed your father because something told us we had to. He was like a child. Not for 1 minute did he ever stop to think that what he was looking for just did not exist. But he was determined. When we slept, he worked on, sometimes through the night by the light of a candle. One day, the heat outside was unbearable. Everyone stopped what they were doing and went to sleep in their tents. But not Sir Richard. With just a handkerchief to cover his head, he sipped mint tea, staring down at the sand as if it would suddenly come to life. And of course, it did. His eyes suddenly focused on a few particles of sand which began to move. Almost hypnotized, he watched the head and eyes of a cobra staring at him over the top of the sand. His blood was cold, and he couldn't move until the serpent had emerged and slithered away. Your father had found the entrance to the tomb.
The red cobra. Yes, he talks a lot about that in his diary. How he tore away at the sand with his bare hands, helpless until someone heard him shouting. But you sound as though you were sorry he found the tomb.
To me, it was the first step towards death.
You're superstitious. It seems unlike you.
There's something restless here, that's all I know.
You could say that about all the tombs in the valley, from what I've heard. But I will admit, this one is rather special. I don't know why.
Elizabeth?
Hmm?
What did your father tell you about this tomb?
As much as he told you, I imagine.
It is pharaonic, isn't it?
You know, there's no doubt about it. This tomb is cut diagonally into the hill. I thought that as we made the approach.
Where is the king's chamber?
King's chamber? Is there one?
I've told you not to play games with me. Now tell me. You promised. Your father promised. Elizabeth, I want to know.
Hello, what's this mark on the wall? It looks as though it could have been a cartouche or something. Yes, do you see? The double-headed cobra. Oh, quick, Fuad, bring the lamp over here. Oh, Fuad, did you hear what I... Fuad, what the hell do you think you're doing? You don't scare me, you know. I can hear you moving around in the dark. Don't think I'm going to tell you anything until you light that lamp again. Fuad, did you hear what I said? Oh, Fuad, no! Please, don't leave me! Fuad, there's something here. It's touching my foot. There's something crawling along the floor. Fuad!
Into the Darkness was the second episode of Kill the Pharaoh, a thriller serial in 8 parts by Victor Pemberton. Elizabeth Warwick was played by Sheila Grant, and production for the BBC was by John TYDEMAN. Kill the Pharaoh. A thriller serial in 8 episodes by Victor Pemberton. Elizabeth Warwick visits the site of the tomb excavated by her father in the Valley of the Kings. With her goes a young Egyptian whom she thinks to be Fuad Yassif, a former friend of her father. Suddenly, she finds herself locked in the darkness of the tomb, with only a cobra for company. Kill the Pharaoh. Episode 3, Strangers in a Cafe.
Get away. Get away. Is anyone there? Oh, please, somebody help me. Help, please, help. you? Oh, stop trying to scare me. Oh, did you hear what I said? It's you.
Miss Warwick, what are you doing down here in the tomb all alone?
Oh, that's a very good question, Mr. Villiers. I might ask you the same.
Well, Maggie and I heard you shouting as we were going past the entrance. Scared the life out of us. We weren't going to come in.
Mr. Villiers, would you mind looking around the floor? I'm sure my foot touched something.
Yes, of course. Just let me light another match. You have to be very careful in these tombs, you know. Full of scorpions and snakes and goodness knows what.
So I've been told. Can you see anything?
No, not a thing. Unless you mean this.
Oh, what is it?
A piece of rope. Just an old piece of rope. I don't somehow think that'd do you much harm, Miss Warwick. Do you?
No, Mr. Villiers. Somehow I don't think it would.
How long will a man rest to the earth ere he rot?
Ah, a wise man was your Mr. Shakespeare. You know, sometimes I think maybe he was really Arab.
You know, Mahmoud, this little circus of yours is not very popular with a priest over there. Exhuming a body from consecrated ground, it's sacrilege.
Let us consider for a moment. For why does this young man, whoever he is, wish to bring Miss Warwick to Luxor? Is he really a friend of Sir Richard?
Well, he'd have to be, wouldn't he?
You think so?
Naturally.
Why?
He'd hardly persuaded her to come out here all the way from England unless he was. The expense alone.
I think Miss Warwick is not without money, my friend.
Yes, but even
no,
so...
maybe Luxor have more to offer this lady than we think. Ah, Captain Aziz. Have you settled everything with the priest?
No. I'll be in.
Captain, I think it's better to speak in English. Mr. Wilder.
The English woman.
What's happened?
She and her friend went to the Harshak tomb.
Ah, so it was the first place.
One of my men followed them. He is now dead.
Dead?
What do you mean, Captain?
My man was instructed to follow them. They used the donkey tracks to reach the peak. He was found at the foot of some rocks. His throat had been cut.
You mean he was murdered?
What else, Mr. Wilder?
The donkey tracks. I wonder why not the new road to Hashak. It is so much quicker.
Which means that they must now be inside the tomb. The two of them, Fuad and Miss Warwick, alone together. We've got to get them out of here.
No.
Don't be a fool, man. If this man with her is Fuad Yassif, it's obvious he's trying to threaten her.
At the moment, we do not know that he is Fuad Yassif.
Then for heaven's sake, when are we going to know?
They have reached the coffin. Now, Mr. Wilder, now we shall know who lies in the coffin of Fuad Yassif.
Now, mind how you go, my dear. That's right. Now, give me your hand.
Oh, thank goodness for the fresh air.
Dear, what a dreadful thing to be locked down there in the dark.
Well, it's my own fault, Mrs. Villiers. I should have taken a torch with me. The hurricane lamp must have blown out.
Oh, that's odd. There was no hurricane lamp down there.
Oh, I'm sure there was, Mr. Villiers. Probably you didn't notice it.
Oh, I could have sworn...
Tell me something. I didn't know you two were coming up to Harshak. You told me you were spending the day in the valley.
Well, yes.
We decided to change our minds.
Why?
Well,
it's those binoculars, you see.
Binoculars?
He's like a child with them. We bought them in Port Side on the way down.
Much better than a camera. You can see everything.
That's why we came up this far. It's such a marvellous view. As a matter of fact, we watched you go into the tomb. From right the way down there. Oh, past those rocks.
Really?
You and your friend. By the way, what happened to him?
Happened?
We saw him go in, but he didn't come out again.
You did... Are you sure?
Positive.
Well, how long were you out there?
All the time. I mean, we couldn't have missed him. Could we?
You do not enjoy to look on the face of a dead man, Mr. Wilder?
Not when it's been lying in a grave for a month in this heat. Probably half decomposed by now. I wish they'd hurry up.
Ah, the lid is beginning to move. Now.
Good heavens! It's empty.
They're beautiful creatures, aren't they?
Yes.
They're called the hoopoo bird. Actually, they're quite common to this part of Egypt. You find them right the way down the Nile, even in Aswan.
Oh, yeah.
Silly little things, especially that long beak.
Yes.
Oh, no, don't go. Won't you stay and have a drink with me?
It's very kind of you, but
Don't be surprised, Elizabeth. They told me you were staying at this hotel. I've been waiting for you.
I'm sorry. I don't seem to know...
James O'Hara. I'm an old friend of your father. We worked together up at Harshack.
Mr. O'Hara. Well, I'm terribly sorry. You must think me awfully rude. Of course, I'd love to have a drink with you.
Ah, well done. Sit down here, my dear.
Thank you.
You know, it really is rather remarkable. You've got the same eyes. Oh, yes.
You know, it's funny. I know I must know you, but I can't remember my father ever writing to me.
Well, I know you, my dear. Every expression, every little nod of the head. He loved you very much, you know. He used to read us all your letters.
Yes, sir.
What'll it be, my dear?
Just a cup of tea, please.
Fingertain shai min fadlak.
Sukra.
You speak Arabic.
You can't live in a country for 15 years without speaking the language. They only let me stay on because I run a school at Harshack.
Things must have changed a lot since you came.
Well, they'd have to, wouldn't they? Most new countries do.
Do you never want to go back home?
Home is where you hang your hat, isn't it? No, I suppose this is as near to home as I'll ever get. Mind you, it's a pity you have to get rid of the old before you can build the new. Egypt's a bit like that.
Oh, Mr. O'Hara, I only wish I could tell you what it means to me to find someone like you down here. Someone I can trust, a real friend of my father at last.
You're a nice girl, Elizabeth. A very nice girl.
Achmed, wait a minute. Are you sure this is the right place? Makkah Square?
Sure, mister, sure. This is where Achmed TYDEMAN, sure.
Which cafe is it?
Oh, there, lady. One on the corner where the big man smoked a hubble bubble.
There. That filthy place.
No, lady, beautiful. Beautiful.
Well, I don't like the look of it. Too many people. They seem to be going to the mosque on the other side.
Achmed, now listen to me. This man you saw, he was English.
English?
But what did he look like?
Oh, very big.
Yes?
But more big than Achmed.
His eyes. What about his eyes?
Brown eyes. Like you, lady.
Charlie, I tell you, it is him. It must be.
They're all getting pretty het up at something on television. I don't know whether we ought to...
Oh, please.
All right, Achmed, take us across there.
No. Achmed, stay here.
What do you mean, no? You promised.
Achmed promised to bring only to square. Not too many people.
What difference does that make?
No one to have trouble. Maybe someone tried to kill Achmed. Bad for business.
All right, we'll go alone. Do they speak English? Achmed! I said, do they speak English?
Not too late. He's gone.
Good in technique, good in courage. He's not really, I think, to be faulted.
Come in.
Ah.
Oh, Mr. Wilder.
I'm sorry to trouble you, Miss Warwick. I just wondered if I could have a few words with you.
Of course, come in. I'll turn this off.
Oh, no, there's no need.
It's done.
Oh, was that from London?
Oh, yes, it's the test. I'd have missed it if Mr. Villiers hadn't lent me his transistor.
I had no idea ladies like cricket.
Why shouldn't they?
No reason at all. But I suppose I'm a bit out of touch with things back home. We don't really know much about London out here. I'll show you around the place sometime if you like me to. Of course, you've already been over to the valley, haven't you?
Yes, but you need a great deal longer to see all those tombs in the Valley of the Kings than just one day.
And today you went out to the Harshack tomb, I believe.
Yes. Is there any reason why I shouldn't?
No, of course not.
I suppose you could call it a sort of pilgrimage.
And that's all?
Mr. Wilder, what are you going on about? Am I supposed to have done something wrong?
The man who went with you, who was he?
Well, I told you at the police station last night. His name's Fuad, and he's a friend of my father.
You've checked on that, have you?
Look, he invited me here.
Why did you use the donkey tracks to get to the tomb?
Well, because I imagine it's the only way up there.
But it isn't. You see, there's a new main road.
Oh, really? Well, it seems you know exactly what I've been doing today.
What happened up at the tomb?
Happened? I looked around. Why, is that against the law?
A man was killed up there today. They found his body on the rocks just below the tomb.
Is that all, Mr. Wilder?
Yes.
Well, then, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to shower before dinner.
Of course. Miss Warwick, will you do something for me?
Yes?
If there's something you feel you want to tell me, something I ought to know, will you promise to come and see me?
Oh, yes, Mr. Wilder, of course.
Well, goodbye then.
Goodbye.
Dervish hopes to cut and goes through the handbricks. Back comes the ball at the offside field.
Charlie, how much longer are we going to sit here? I'm scared.
Just keep your voice down. They're more interested in their television set than us. Now drink your tea and don't take any notice.
What's it all about? What's he saying?
I don't know. Probably political. We'll give it another 5 minutes. And if he doesn't turn up... Good heavens.
What?
Look who's just come in.
Mr. and Mrs. Villiers. Well, this is a surprise. Haven't seen you in this cafe before. How did you find it?
Oh, we were shopping in Marcus Square. You know the place well, do you?
Oh, yeah. I'm quite a regular here. I like to get off the tourist tracks whenever I can. All that red plush and travellers checks. No. You get the real atmosphere in a place like this. Hey, do you mind if I join you?
No, at all. Take a seat. Have you any idea what all that is about?
Oh, you know, a bit of the old propaganda. It's like that on telly most nights here. It's either that or a belly dancer. And you can bet your life what this lot prefer. And me.
Mr. Pringle, you say you spend quite a lot of time in here.
Yeah, that's right, Mrs. Villiers.
Do you ever notice any other tourists?
Well, no, I can't say I do. As I told you, that's the main reason I come here. I mean, I can't somehow see tourists sitting down to a plateful of sheep's eyeballs, can you?
Mr. Pringle, are you sure you wouldn't remember a man? A young man?
Maggie!
Not very young, perhaps, but good-looking. He's about 30.
Look, I'm sorry, I'm not sure.
No, it's all right, Mr. Pringle. Don't worry.
What do you mean, don't worry? Don't you care? Don't you care whether we find him or not?
Will you shut up?
No, I will not shut up. Not any longer. Mr. Pringle, please, if you remember, you might just remember.
The whole cafe's watching
you. If you do.
Look, I'm sorry, Mrs. Villiers. I've never seen any tourists in here.
Oh, damn! Damn!
Maggie, come back!
Mr. Villiers, is there anything I can...
No, it's all right, Mr. Pringle. I'm sorry about this, really sorry. She's just a bit tired. If you'll excuse me, I'd better run after her. See you back at the hotel. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Hey, Mr. Villiers, aren't you going to stop and see the belly dancer?
Ah, Mr. Wilder. Welcome to my shop. Welcome.
Please don't let me disturb you, Mahmoud.
Not important. I'm only putting together 18th dynasty bracelet.
Ah.
Yeah. There you are. So, what is the news of Miss Warwick?
She's back at the hotel.
Excellent, excellent. You see, you have not to worry.
Something happened up at that tomb. I just wish I knew what. How have you wanted to see me?
Yes. Mr. Wilder, do you know the name Villiers?
Villiers? Ah, Villiers. Oh, yes. Aren't they staying at the same hotel as Miss Warwick?
Room number 26, I think. They are British subjects.
British? Oh, that's odd. I don't think I've met them.
Perhaps you know of them.
Well, if we do, I'm sure they're not on the list.
Today, they were at the Hashak tomb.
Really? Do you think there's some connection with them and the trouble up there?
Perhaps. But it is interesting that already they have been in Luxor for many weeks, and only today they decide to go to the Hashak tomb.
On the same day as Miss Warwick?
Yes, Mr. Wilder. And on same day as one of the captain's men was found murdered on Theban Peak. Mr. Wilder, I am going to ask that you do for me a favor.
Oh, yeah?
I am going to telephone hotel. I would like for you to speak and ask the reception the name of the people who have occupied room number 26. Will you do it?
Well, yes, if you want, but why?
You'll see. Hello? Winter Palace Hotel. Here you are, Mr. Wilder.
Hello, Winter Palace Hotel. Good evening, Wilder here. Yes, yes, that's right. I wonder if you could do something for me, please. I believe you have some British guests staying in your room number 26. Yes, would you mind telling me their names, please? Yes, yes, of course. Oh, what are those you're holding?
Oh, this? Oh, yes. Well, this is a necklace of the key of life, symbol of eternity for the great pharaohs. It is made of pure Egyptian gold.
Yes? But is it genuine?
My friend, what kind of shop do you think Mahmoud have? No, I do not think it is genuine. But it was found in the tomb of Hashak this morning.
Hello? Yes, yes, I'm here. Yes. Who? Are you sure? No. Quite all right. Yes, yes, thank you. Goodbye.
So?
They say the room is occupied by a Mr. and Mrs. Charles Barclay from London.
Barclay? Yes. That is the name we have on the police tourist register. But to everyone else, they are Mr. and Mrs. Villiers. Do you know why, my friend?
No, but I know that name from somewhere. Barclay.
Good evening, Mrs. Villiers.
Oh, it's you.
Well, it can't be much fun drinking on your own. Mind if I join you?
It's a free country, so they say.
Where's Mr. Villiers tonight? Is he out?
Out. Upstairs, downstairs, I don't know. I don't care. Why should I care? He doesn't. He hates me.
Oh, come now. I'm sure he does.
I tell you, he hates me. He always has. He doesn't know how to love. He hates you, too. Did you know that?
Me? Why?
He knows all about you. And your father. And your brother.
Mrs. Villiers, I'm not quite sure I know.
You don't think we came all the way out here to this fly-ridden hole just to do a lot of broken-down old tombs, do you?
Look, Mrs. Villiers, if you tell me about it, I may be able to help you.
Help me? Oh, that's a laugh. You help me. All you've got to do is tell me what they've done with my boy. My son.
Your son?
They said he deserted his regiment. He didn't. He'd never do a thing like that. Not my Brian.
Your son is a deserter from his regiment? From where?
From Suez. He was in the landing in 56. The same regiment as your brother.
Michael?
They were friends.
But Michael was killed in action. He's buried in the British War Cemetery.
They were friends, I tell you. Brian was always telling us that one day he and your brother would come down here and carry on where your father left off. We'd have come out years ago, but we just didn't have the money. We only came now because somebody told us that they thought they'd seen Brian in Luxor. He's around here somewhere, I know he is. You don't have any children, do you, Miss Warwick? No. Of course you don't. You've got all your life ahead of you. Well, let me tell you something. I haven't. I've only got one person to love me, and I want him back. Do you hear me? I want him back.
Look, Mrs. Villiers, believe me, I don't know where your son is. If I did know, I'd...
Get away from me. Leave me alone.
Oh, Mrs. Villiers, please.
Stop calling me that. It's not my name. My name is...
Barclay. Margaret Louisa Barclay.
Oh, Mr. Villiers. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't notice you. Well, if you'll excuse me, I think I'll take a little stroll down to the river before I turn in. Good night.
Good night.
I didn't tell her anything, Charlie. Honestly. I promise.
Are you ready for bed, my dear? You must be very tired.
Oh, Mr. O'Hara, what are you doing down here?
Sorry, my dear, I didn't mean to scare you. I often come for a stroll along by the river after dinner. It's the best time of day.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's very, very beautiful, isn't it? I can see why the Nile meant so much to my father. It's like nothing I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen so many stars shining in the sky.
I know how you feel, my dear. I felt the same way when I first came to Luxor. They're almost hypnotic, aren't they?
Yes. Oh, they must have been a wonderful guide for the architect, you know.
You only have to look at the pyramids at Giza for that.
Oh, yes. Yes. Do you think it was like that at the Harshak tomb? Could it have been worked out mathematically?
I doubt it.
Then Then you think the same as all the rest of them? Father was wrong. It isn't a pharaoh's tomb.
I think if it was never occupied. As much as I hate to admit it, I think that tomb is pretty much of a white elephant. You do well to forget all about it. Try and have yourself a little bit of fun whilst you're here.
Perhaps you're right.
Well, I must be off home. As it is, I don't like driving over those mountain tracks after dark. Take care of yourself, my dear.
I will.
And don't forget to call on me if you feel like it. And don't wander around down here on your own too long. I should get back to the hotel. Goodbye, Elizabeth.
Bye. Who's there? Who are you? I can see you in the shadows. Whoever you are, keep away from me.
English woman.
You! Abdullah!
Why you not go home? Why you stay here? My people hate you. You bring nothing but evil, Englishwoman. Evil.
What happened in that village? Your house, it was burned. They found 2 bodies.
You should not have come to us here. You ask too many questions. Too many.
If you touch me, I'll call for help. Abdullah, I'm warning you. Why don't you leave me alone?
No. Okay. Remain still. You will come with me, Englishwoman. Yes, you will come with me now.
Let go of me.
I am going to punish you, Englishwoman. I am going to punish you.
No. Help! Help!
Elizabeth! Oh, Elizabeth. For mercy's sake, child, what happened?
A man attacked me. I thought he was going to strangle me.
I knew I shouldn't have left you. You should have gone straight back to the hotel. Did he take anything? Your bag?
No.
No? You sure?
Here it is.
He couldn't have seen it.
Oh, he saw it all right.
But my dear child, he might have killed you. Why?
Yes. Why?
Pringle? Oh, it's you. Hey, I didn't know you was coming tonight. I was just watching the belly dance on the...
Did you follow my instructions?
Yeah, I did. Just like you said.
Why didn't you contact me? Don't you ever listen to anything I say, Pringle?
Well, things have been getting tricky around here. I mean, I didn't have time to...
Where is he now?
Upstairs. I told him to hide out for a while. You know, he's in a bit of a state. Shall I come with you?
No, wait here. Does he know I'm coming?
No. Honest.
Good. And Pringle, try not to spend too much of my money, will you? Please.
Pringle, is that you? Pringle! Oh, it's you.
Good evening, Fuad. Why did you come here?
I had to. There was nowhere else to go. No one knows that I'm here.
I'm afraid you're wrong. Someone does know you're here. You were followed.
Followed? Oh, no, it's not possible. How could they?
You were followed by the 2 English people, Mr. and Mrs. Villiers. That was very careless of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
In fact, Fuad, 2 mistakes in one day is more than careless. It's dangerous. What happened at the tomb?
There was nothing I could do. She is playing a double game. I know she is. She's not going to tell us.
No?
We will have to find another way. She is too clever for us, much too clever. Ah! Oh, no, please! Please let go of my arm!
Let me tell you something, my friend. You were sent out to that tomb to do a job, and you didn't do it. Now, I don't know why you can't obey instructions, but it seems to me perhaps I should be a little more persuasive.
My arm! You're breaking my arm!
You see, Fuad, I've already lost one good man on that train, and I'd hate to lose another. You can understand that, can't you?
Give me another chance. Oh, please, give me another chance.
All right. I'll give you another chance. Tomorrow, Fuad. Tomorrow you can try again. I want that girl brought to me. Do you understand? I want Elizabeth Warwick brought to me.
Strangers in a Cafe was the third episode of Kill the Pharaoh, a thriller serial in 8 parts by Victor Pemberton. Elizabeth Warwick was played by Sheila Grant, and production for the BBC was by John TYDEMAN. Kill the Pharaoh, a thriller serial in 8 episodes by Victor Pemberton. Inspector Mahmoud and Mr. Wilder are concerned for the safety of Elizabeth Warwick, who is visiting her father's former excavations in Upper Egypt. They are worried that few of her friends are what or whom they seem. Now a mysterious stranger has appeared, demanding that Elizabeth be brought to him at all costs, and at once. Kill the Pharaoh. Episode 4, The Hunter.
The Hajjak tomb. No, Miss Warwick. It's better for you to forget this place.
Forget?
The tomb is worthless, you must know that. Ever since your father first excavated...
My father spent the best years of his life digging out that tomb. Valuable years. And now you tell me the Department of Antiquities are just going to leave the place to rot in the sun as a rest home for cobras and scorpions?
Miss Warwick, your father was a greatly respected man. But you cannot expect my department to spend what little money we have on preserving something which is of no archaeological importance.
Dr. Fuad, how can you say such a thing? Surely the fact that such a tomb exists...
My dear young lady, look for yourself. Now, these photographs were taken after your father's excavations, you see? Not one single hieroglyph, cartouche, or anything else. Not even a sarcophagus or remains of a mummy. Now, how are we supposed to know what such a place is if there are no recognizable means of identification?
Perhaps this particular pharaoh didn't want to be identified.
Miss Warwick, the tomb is an empty shell. It is not even in the valley itself.
For which there must be a reason.
Well, whatever it is, we shall never know.
We would have, if my father had been allowed to continue his work.
Miss Warwick, although I did not agree with your father's theories, I would like you to know that I personally did not approve of his having to leave, even though Sir Richard was a sick man when he left Egypt.
Oh, I must go. Dr. Fuad, I hope I haven't been too rude. I'd like to call on you again, if I may.
You will be welcome any time, Miss Warwick, any time at all.
Oh, yes, there was just one thing.
Yes?
There's a piece of broken fresco they dug up from the road, somewhere near the tomb. Do you know it at all?
The hunter? Yes. You will find it in the grounds of the temple of Luxor, and near the statue of Ramesses. But I should not give to it too much importance.
But worth taking a look.
Of course. But, Miss Warwick, if you will take from me a few friendly words of advice, keep away from the Hajjak tomb. The people around are very superstitious about it. They believe it is haunted.
You needn't worry, Doctor. I don't scare too easily. Not even if there is a mummy's curse.
Nonetheless, I am concerned about this sudden interest in the tomb. If it goes on, I will have to have it sealed up.
Sudden interest?
Well, you're not the first person to ask me about it recently. Only yesterday there was a man here, also English.
Really? Oh, do you know who he was? And what does he look like?
Small, with spectacles. Rather facetious, I thought. What was his name?
Small with spectacles? You don't mean a...
Ah, yes, I remember. His name was Pringle. Mr. Bertram Pringle.
Now then, Mr. Pringle, what exactly is on your mind?
Well, Mr. Wilder, I didn't want to have to come and bother you, but, well, it's like this, see?
Yes?
I'm a bit suspicious about this English couple that's staying at the same hotel as me. A Mr. and Mrs. Villiers.
Suspicious in what way?
Well, for one thing, I don't even think that Villiers is the real name.
Really?
Barclay. That's the name they gave me at the reception desk.
Barclay.
And so I asked myself why. I mean, why register under a different name? That is, unless you've got something to hide.
And you think they have?
Well, I wouldn't have until I met them in that cafe last night. You know, the one in Market Square.
Marquess Square?
Yeah. I mean, well, it's all right for me. I lap up the local atmosphere. But it's not the sort of dump you'd expect to find a respectable English couple, is it? Especially all on their Todd.
Huh? On their own?
Yeah. But they were looking for someone, a young bloke. Mrs. Villiers got very worked up about it because this bloke wasn't there, which made me put two and two together. Do you know what I think, Mr. Wilder?
No, what?
I reckon they've come down here to try and contact their son. And I'll bet you a quid to a farthing that the son is a deserter from the army.
Deserter?
And believe me, Mr. Wilder, sir, there's nothing I can't stand worse than a white feather. I fought for my country in the Second World War, and I'm proud of it.
But, Mr. Pringle, how can you be sure that this person the Villiers are looking for is an army deserter?
Well, I can't absolutely be sure, can I, Mr. Wilder? Well, let's face it, if he is, he'd have to stay out here, wouldn't he? I mean, if he put his nose back in Blight, he'd soon have it cut off, wouldn't he?
And you think the Villiers have already made contact with this man, do you?
Well, I should think they're bound to have. But look, Mr. Wilder, sir, now, I don't want you to think I came here to try and stir up trouble for the Villiers. I mean, that's the last thing I'd want to do. You do know that, don't you?
The Hunter. That is the name of the fresco. Did you know that, dear lady?
Yes, Inspector, I did know that, thank you.
Oh, yes, but of course. Your father had mentioned it in his book.
Yes,
It's
he
very
did.
interesting picture, no?
Very.
These here, they are the animals who have been killed.
Correct. 3 hippopotami.
And the 2 men.
Well, the hunter in the foreground is either a nobleman or king. The one behind, pointing the arrow, I should think he's probably a slave bearer.
It's unusual, do you not think?
What is?
That the Pharaoh does not hunt alone. Always I have thought that the symbol of the royal manhood was that the Pharaoh should hunt alone.
Well, that depends if the man in foreground is a pharaoh. After all, there's nothing to identify him. If there was a cartouche, it's been broken off.
Fascinating. You see, dear lady, you really are your father's daughter. You show great knowledge of Egyptology.
Oh, purely a hobby, I can assure you.
Ah, it's a wonderful thing. So many times I have stood in the shadow of this temple. I have watched the sun turn to the color of blood. And for me, there comes a moment when it seems Egypt belongs to the pharaohs again.
Maybe it does. It's just that we haven't noticed.
But at least we still have the pleasure to try to find out about things we do not know.
Such as?
Oh, many things, dear lady, in this temple alone. For instance, the fresco. Can you tell me what have happened to the other animal?
Other animal? Well, there are only 3 hippopotami, and you can see them here. They're all dead.
Yes, but the man behind the pharaoh, do you see? He points his arrow towards another animal that we cannot see.
Yes, that's odd. I must say I'd never noticed. Good heavens, yes.
Dear lady, what is it? What do you see?
Inspector, you can't see another animal because there isn't one. Look. Look at the man in the background. He's not pointing his arrow at an animal. He's pointing it directly at the pharaoh's back.
All right, Achmed, now keep the boat like that. If we stay at anchor on this side of the river, they won't notice us.
Cannot stay too long, Mr. Villiers. Current of water very strong.
She's still looking at the same fresco.
Yes, I'd like to know who that is with her. Achmed, do you recognize the man standing with Miss Warwick over at the Luxor Temple?
No. I cannot see his face because he's turned... Mr. Villiers!
What is it?
The man. He's Mahmoud, Chief of Police.
Aren't you sure?
Yes, I know him. Everyone in Luxor know him. Inspector Mahmoud.
And she must have told him.
No, she couldn't have.
What do you mean she couldn't have? After what you told her last night? By now the police will know the whole damn story.
Oh.
They'll be out looking for Brian, and he'll be sent straight back to England to be court-martialed. Well, my dear, I hope you're satisfied with yourself.
I didn't tell her anything, I promise.
You told her our son is an army deserter.
Yes, but she doesn't know what he looks like.
I don't think that'll be very difficult to find out, especially if you get a couple or more drinks down you. Well, this means we have to change our plans.
How?
We've got to stop looking for Brian.
No, Charlie.
At least for the time being. Whatever he's doing up at that tomb, we've got to try and divert attention from it.
But what happens if the British authorities find out? Well, that man Wilder, for instance. What happens if he finds out who we are?
You might have thought about that before you drunk yourself into a stupor last night.
Charlie.
Achmed, Mrs. Villiers and I are not going up to the Harshak tomb anymore for the time being, so I want you to go up there instead.
Me? No, Mr. Villiers, not for Achmed.
What do you mean, not Achmed? I want you to go up there and watch the place for us. If you see anything of the same young Englishman, I want you to come down and tell me right away. Is that clear?
The tomb have many ghosts. Bring bad luck to Achmed.
I'm warning you, my friend. If you don't do what I say this time, it'll bring you more than bad luck. In fact, there'll be just one more ghost to add to those at the tomb.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. You see, Miss Warwick, after only a few days in Luxor, you have discovered something that has been staring into the face of us all for years. The murder of a pharaoh.
Oh, now, let's not jump to hasty conclusions, Inspector. We have no proof that the hunter in the fresco is a pharaoh. Well, the angle of the picture's been painted very badly. Oh, do you see here? Oh, this is the edge of the river, and the tablet's obviously been broken off. So you see, the man in the background may still be pointing his arrow at another animal. Maybe a hippopotamus or even a crocodile.
I think not. The crocodile is not so much to Luxor, only sometimes in the river at Aswan.
Yes, but in those days the river here was infested with crocodiles. No, I still think the river's edge shown in the fresco is the one right here, in Luxor itself. But it's interesting that the tablet was found so near to the Harshak tomb.
Yes. Well, dear lady, time for siesta. And I think it's maybe time for you to return to your hotel. Already we are approaching the midday sun. The streets are beginning to empty. Come. You can take the horse carriage. It will be much cooler.
Good. And at least it'll stop you following me, won't it?
Hello? Dear lady, me?
Oh, come off it, Inspector. You know very well you spent the last hour dodging in and out of those columns like a rather weary James Bond.
Oh, dear lady, how can you say such a thing? For your protection, dear lady, for your protection.
You're very kind, Inspector, but I promise you I can take care of myself.
Ah, here you are. You're lucky.
Oh, good.
Saeed, is it Little Winter Palace Hotel?
Mathie.
Let me help you into carriage.
Thank you.
Ah, there you are. You'll be comfortable. Have a good sleep.
Thanks. And the same to you.
Miss Warwick, do not be offended if I say something to you.
Of course not. What?
Take care. Whatever you do, wherever you go, take care.
But why?
Because there are some who may well misinterpret your reasons for coming to Egypt. And also, because I wish only for you a good holiday. Do you understand?
Yes, Inspector, I do understand. But I want you to know I'm enjoying my holiday very much. I promise.
Yalla.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, dear lady. Goodbye.
Wilder? Yes, Rana. Oh, London, splendid. Put them through, will you, please? Bum, 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 bum. Hello? Hello, Reggie. Is that you? Yes, I'm fine. And you? Oh dear. Oh, stinking hot, my dear chap. Now, look, have you had any luck with this Berkeley thing? It is. Yes, I thought so. Yes. Now, go ahead, will you? Second Lieutenant Brian Leslie Berkeley. Service number 78129. Yes, got that. Does it show which date he was first reported AWOL? No, AWOL. AWOL, you know. 7th of December, 56. And how old was he? Oh, so that'd put him at about 32 now? No, that's fine, old boy. Thanks a lot. Huh? I haven't the faintest idea, but I gotta have a try. Yes, she is rather, but I'm not, no. Right, see you. Oh, love to Frida. Cheers. Silly ass. Hello, Rana. Check on any armed deserters in November, December 56, would you? No, Suez and Port Side. Oh, and Rana, see if you can get hold of Miss Elizabeth Warwick for me. Yes, that's right, Warwick. With a bit of luck, she may be still at her hotel in the middle of her siesta.
Driver? I say, driver, I think we're going the wrong way. I asked for the Winter Palace Hotel. It's not in the town, it's facing the river. Driver, did you hear what I... Help! Somebody! Help me! Help! Help! You fool! You mad, stupid... What the hell do you think you're trying to do? Kill me? What do you want? Why have you brought me to this alley?
Stay where you are, English woman.
You! Abdullah!
So we meet once again.
Why do you keep following me? What's wrong with you? Why can't you leave me alone?
Last night down by the river, I tried to tell you you were lucky, English woman. Very lucky.
You tried to kill me. Why?
You have brought evil to my village. You have brought more death to the valley of the great Pharaoh.
I don't know what you're talking about. Let me out of this carriage.
No. Does the tomb mean so much to you, English woman, that you would kill? That you would steal from our ancestors what belonged to Araby?
Kill? Steal? What are you talking about?
Come down from the carriage.
I warn you, I'll shout the place down.
Give me your hand, or I will cut it off.
Abdullah, keep away from me. Abdullah.
Elizabeth! Elizabeth! Are you all right?
I wouldn't be if I was still in that carriage. Fuad! Oh, what are you doing here?
Oh, I saw you get into Arabana at Temple of Luxor. I followed you here in a car.
Oh, that's very noble of you, I must say, after ditching me in that tomb yesterday.
Oh, Elizabeth, I can explain about that.
You'd better, because you've now proved to me you've already found another way into that place. And I'm warning you, I want to know.
I'll tell you. Elizabeth, I promise I'll tell you. Will you meet me later?
Well, I don't know.
Do you know Market Square?
I can find it.
Find the small cinema in the street nearby. Buy a ticket and go to the last but one row from the back.
Yes.
I will wait for you there at 9 o'clock. Will you come?
Oh, I tell you, I don't... Fuad! Fuad!
Achmed! Achmed, Araby! Are you down there?
Mr. O'Hara! Oh, welcome to my boat. Welcome.
Do you mind if I come aboard?
Come down, please. I'm going to make us a mint tea.
Ah, your mint tea. I don't know anybody in Luxor who makes it like you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Oh, she's a beautiful boat, Achmed. There's not another one like Horus on the whole Nile. I hope I haven't disturbed you.
Oh, no.
You've paid your respects to Mecca, have you?
Yes. Not again now, until the morning.
I must say I have the greatest regard for you, Achmed. You make your religion an important part of your life.
Mohammed is life for Achmed. But you too are religious, Mr. O'Hara. You are a good Christian, no?
Well, I believe in one God, if that's what you mean. That's what they teach you in the Quran, isn't it?
You have read Quran?
How would I know what goes on inside you people if I hadn't? By the way, how were your two English friends, Mr. and Mrs. Villiers, isn't it?
Friends?
For the last few weeks, your boat has rarely been out for hire for anybody else.
Oh, they have paid many piastres.
They must think highly of you.
Oh, yes.
Especially when they could have their pick of so many boats.
Oh, Horace, very good boat. None better in whole Upper Egypt.
You can say that again, Achmed.
Yes.
And they won't find anyone who knows this river better than you. And those hills up there. I suppose that's why the Villiers chose you.
The water boiled. Now we shall have the mint tea.
Hello, who's that? Have you got somebody down below, Achmed?
No. He's nothing, just an old man.
Old man?
Abdullah. He's my friend, very good friend, Abdullah.
Abdullah? Does he always sleep on board?
No. Only tonight. He's old man and have no house. He's tired because work today have been very difficult for him.
Ah, Miss Warwick. So here you are.
Yes, Mr. Wilder?
I tried to reach you on the telephone this afternoon. They said you were out.
Yes. Well, I went for a little sightseeing drive. Why, have I done something wrong again?
No, not at all. I really came to apologize. You must have thought me awfully arrogant and rather stupid yesterday afternoon. I didn't mean to treat you like a schoolgirl.
Well, I suppose you were only doing your job.
You're going out?
I have a dinner date with Dr. Forsad. I was just on my way.
Oh, what a pity. I was going to ask if you'd care to join me.
Yes, well, that's very kind of you. I'll take you up on that, perhaps another evening.
Before you go, Miss Warwick.
Yes?
Actually, there was something else.
Yes?
There's another English couple staying at this hotel, a Mr. and Mrs. Villiers. I was wondering if you'd come into contact with them at all.
Once or twice. We share the same table in the dining room.
Oh, do they ever talk much about their life back home in England?
Well, of course. We English tourists abroad never stop talking about life back home. What else can most of them talk about? Why?
Have they ever mentioned their family?
No, I can't say that they have.
Oh, never? You mean they've never talked to you about their son?
Son? I didn't know they had one.
Oh, he deserted from the British Army during the Suez landings in '56.
Oh, really? How sad.
You didn't know that?
Why should I? Well, it's hardly a thing you'd expect the Villiers to boast about now, is it?
No, of course not, no. Well, if you do happen to hear anything, I'd be very grateful if you'd let me know. If this person is in Luxor, we're going to find him.
And if you do?
Oh, I imagine he'll be sent back to England for court-martial.
Regardless of the reasons why he did it?
Oh, I'm afraid that's quite immaterial. I mean, you just don't desert the flag you're fighting for, do you? Anyway, don't give it another thought, Miss Warwick. I hope you and Dr. Forsad will have a most enjoyable evening.
Thank you.
Forget all about antiquities for a while. Go out and have a jolly good laugh.
You're late.
I came as soon as I could. I didn't want to be seen.
What is all this cloak and dagger stuff? Why have we got to meet in this filthy bug hutch of a cinema?
Elizabeth, listen to me. There is something you have got to know.
Yes, how did you get out of that tomb? There is another entrance, isn't there?
Yes.
Then why didn't you tell me instead of leaving me alone in the dark like that?
I wanted to tell you, but I heard someone moving around outside. I just couldn't take the risk.
Oh, all right. Where is it?
I can't tell you, not yet.
What do you mean you can't tell me? You will tell me.
Listen to me carefully. The second entrance was found 2 years ago.
2 years?
It leads directly to another chamber, a much bigger one. Before we could get there, we had...
You're working with somebody else.
Who? I can't tell you. I dare not.
It's the Villiers' son, isn't it? Brian Bertie.
Elizabeth, please.
He was in the same regiment as my brother Michael. He knew what my father was trying to do down here. That's why he deserted.
No.
Don't lie to me. I don't even think you are Fuad.
Please, keep your voice down. We can be heard.
Now, you listen to me, my friend. You found something in that tomb, and I want to know what it is. Do you hear me, Fuad? I want to know.
Ah, Mr. Wilder, my friend, come in. I think maybe you have smelt the bottle. Come and have a glass of arak.
Now, what is this, some kind of celebration?
Yeah, I can tell by the look on your face you're going to depress me with more news. Am I right?
I spoke to London on the telephone this afternoon about the Villiers, or should I say Berkeley.
Yes?
Their son is a Lieutenant Brian Berkeley. He's a deserter from the British Army.
During the landings at Suez, correct?
You know.
Of course, I'm a very efficient police inspector, you know. Also, I can tell you that this Lieutenant Berkeley was in the same regiment as the brother of Miss Elizabeth Warwick.
Michael Warwick?
Correct.
And you think there's some sort of connection?
Who knows?
Well, I must say, Miss Warwick herself was a bit evasive about the Villiers. She says she's never heard of the son.
You asked her?
Yes, why not? Though I must say I find it hard to believe she didn't know the two men were in the same regiment. They were supposed to have been close friends.
But Lieutenant Michael Warwick was killed in action soon after the landings.
Yes, poor devil.
And this Michael Warwick, he never had the chance to come to Luxor?
Apparently not.
But even that does not mean he didn't know what was happening up at Harshak.
Well, even if he did, it wouldn't make much difference. That tomb is worthless.
I wonder. Come in.
Inspector Mahmoud.
Oh, yes, Captain Aziz. What is it?
The Englishwoman.
Yes?
My men followed her from the hotel. She went to the Marcus Square. They lost her in the crowd.
Oh, she'll be all right. She's with Dr. Forsad.
Dr. Forsad?
I met Miss Warwick at the hotel just before she left. She has her dinner date with the doctor.
She was with no one. She was quite alone.
Oh, but she can't be.
Oh, yes, Mr. Wilder, she can. Dr. Forsad left Luxor early this morning. He has gone to inspect a new excavation near Aswan.
My
Captain, I want as many of your men as you can spare. Please be good enough to surround the market square without further delay.
Aye, well. Miss Warwick is in danger, isn't she?
Yes, my friend. Yes, I'm afraid she is.
No, Elizabeth, the only thing you can do is to go. Get out of the country as soon as you can before it's too late.
To leave you sitting on top of treasures worth a fortune. Oh, no.
I'll help you. I promise I'll help you, but you can't stay here. Whatever there was in that tomb can only bring you disaster.
I'm not superstitious. All right, Fuad, if you won't show me how to get into that chamber, I'll find my own way.
No, listen. I will take you there, but you've got to promise me something. You've got to promise that...
Promise what? Go on.
What a great pity that you cannot understand the Arabic language, Elizabeth. This film is really very funny.
What the hell with the film?
Do you know the man on the screen is one of our most famous actors?
What are you trying to do? What's the matter with you?
Watch the film, Elizabeth, please. Watch the film.
You're up to something. I don't like this. I'm getting out of here.
No. Don't go, Elizabeth. Don't miss the film.
Who's that? Who are you?
No, don't turn round. I can see you quite well from behind. I've missed you, Elizabeth. I've missed you an awful lot.
Voice. I know that voice.
But now we're together again, Elizabeth. Just like we used to be. Just like old times.
You...
No, Elizabeth, I said don't turn round. That's better. Much, much better. Elizabeth.
The Hunter was the fourth episode of Kill the Pharaoh, a thriller serial in 8 parts by Victor Pemberton. Elizabeth Warwick was played by Sheila Grant, and production for the BBC was by John TYDEMAN. Kill the Pharaoh, a thriller serial in 8 episodes by Victor Pemberton. Inspector Mahmoud has warned Elizabeth that whatever secret it is she knows about the Harshak tomb excavated by her father in Luxor is placing her life in danger. The danger is all too real. She was last seen at a local cinema, but now has disappeared without trace. Kill the Pharaoh. Episode 5, A Face in the Crowd.
Oh, my head. Oh. Where am I? Oh, the heat. Who are you? What am I doing here? What is this place? Where are we? Oh, damn you, woman. Can't you understand anything I say? No, keep away. Keep away from me. Look, water. Do you understand me? I want some water. Maya?
Maya?
Yeah.
Maya?
Well, don't stand there, woman. Go and get me some water.
There you are, Elizabeth. I'm sure that'll make you feel better.
You? It can't be.
It's good to see my little sister again after all these years. I've missed you.
Michael. Michael, you were dead. You were killed in action at Suez.
Oh, you mustn't believe everything the War Office tells you. And anyway, I can assure you I don't feel in the slightest bit dead. Drink your water.
Why? In heaven's name, why? What happened?
Oh, that's rather a long story, Liz, old girl. Liz. It's been a few years since I was able to call you that. Liz. I apologize for this rather unconventional way of bringing you here, Liz. I must say, I do agree with you about that cinema. It really is rather a bug hutch, isn't it? But then, it wouldn't have been necessary if that mutual friend of ours, Fuad hadn't...
What do you want of me?
I wanted to see my sister. There's no crime in that, is there, Liz? Do you know something? The last time I saw you, you had freckles and pigtails.
The last time I saw you, you were a soldier. Or supposed to have been.
Then we've both changed, haven't we, Liz?
Please, please, Inspector, you've got to believe me. This is a respectable cinema. I am honest man. I would not allow no trouble.
Good. I am pleased to hear it. That means you have given up selling drugs to American tourists.
Inspector, that was a long time ago. I tell you, I am honest man. Always I will help police.
There was an English woman in your cinema last night. She was seen coming in, but she did not come out.
Dear sir, I do not permit people to sleep in my cinema.
Then you do not remember such a lady.
I did not say that.
You mean you saw her?
Yes, of course. We show only Arabic-speaking pictures here. We do not have many Europeans to visit us.
What did she look like, this lady?
Not so tall. Blue eyes. Hair was colored light.
That's Elizabeth Warwick, all right, it must be.
You have good memory, my friend. Perhaps then you also remember where in the cinema she was sitting.
Of course. Last row but one. Both she and her two friends.
What friends?
The two men she left with. One was Arab, the other European.
Yasif, then he's kidnapped her.
They left together? By which door?
Over there, the one just below screen. I do not think they like picture very much. They stay only for a quarter of an hour. And I think maybe a lady was not so well.
Not well? What do you mean by that?
Because the two men have to hold her up. Maybe she was feel a little sick. Oh, Inspector, if there's anything I can do...
That will be all, thank you.
Oh, but I...
You fellow!
Oh, yes, sir.
The man should be punished. He is a liar and a thief.
No, Captain Aziz. He is a rogue. But I think he is telling the truth.
She has been drugged. Anybody can see that. But what do they want with her? What?
If you will allow me to interrogate the cinema manager, I think you will find that he will tell me far more than he has told you, Inspector.
No doubt, Captain, no doubt. But that will not be necessary, thank you.
Now, what is wrong with you? Don't you intend to take any disciplinary action against this man? What has happened here in the cinema. For all we know, he may even have arranged it.
If we are to take discipline at all, Captain, it will be against those who are responsible for Miss Warwick's abduction. Not against fools who know no better.
He is an enemy of the state.
Nonsense.
So too are you, Inspector Mahmoud.
Will you please now leave us, Captain Aziz?
Don't think that Cairo will not hear about this. I warn you. Mahmoud, I warn you.
I know how he feels. All this is so frustrating. She may even be dead by now.
Yes, my friend, maybe she is. But somehow, Mahmoud do not think so.
Berkeley. Brian Berkeley, of course. The Villiers son. So it is true what they said. The two of you were in the same regiment and you both deserted at the same time.
Oh, no, Liz, I'm afraid it wasn't quite like that. He didn't desert. He stayed behind.
But...
Brian Berkeley was killed in action.
What?
Fighting for his country. I took his place.
Oh, my... Oh, how could you be so cruel?
All I had to do was change identification papers. After all, his body was so mutilated it couldn't be recognized. He stepped on a landmine, you know.
And Michael Warwick?
Lies a mouldering in the grave, in the British War Cemetery near Cairo. Oh, come on, Liz. You and Father knew that. You got the telegram from the War Office, didn't you?
It's one of the most despicable things I've ever heard in my... You let that boy's parents think their boy is a criminal. And worse than that, you give them hope that he's still alive. What sort of a person are you? Don't you have any feelings?
Feelings?
That boy was supposed to have been your best friend.
And so he was, none better.
And yet you let a dead man take the blame for something he didn't do. Why?
I needed a name. A different one. And Berkeley obliged by giving me his. It's as simple as that. Oh, not that I bother to use it now. There are plenty of other ways to exist.
Rotten ways.
I was hoping you were going to be a little more understanding. After all, I am your brother, Liz.
Don't remind me. I'm only grateful Father's not alive to see you like this.
Would it really have made so much difference to him?
He was your father.
More yours than mine.
That's nonsense and you know it. Don't blame him for your own deficiencies.
I blame him for the sort of man he was. Arrogant, self-contained, confident of his own genius.
He loved you.
Me? Oh, no, Liz. No, he loathed me as much as I loathe him. Even now, after he's dead, after all these years. He never wanted his son to be his equal. That was beyond him. All I was ever allowed to be was second best.
You never gave him a chance. He was a sad and lonely man, and he tried hard to make it up to you. But you never gave him a chance.
And you did, of course. Well, let me tell you this, my girl. You needn't be so smug. You may think he loved you, but if he did, it was only because you reminded him of our dear mother when she was sober. Oh, no, don't go, Liz.
Let go of me. I don't want to stay with you for another minute.
Well, you're at liberty to go if you want. But I warn you, you may find it rather a long walk. We've got 5 miles of desert around this shack.
It was you who got Fuad Yassif to write to me, wasn't it? It was you who wanted me out here.
But of course. You're my little sister, my father's daughter. It's only natural I should want to see you again. Now, isn't it? Isn't it?
Don't try and fool me, Michael. I know why you brought me here. But do you really think I know any more about that tomb than anyone else?
I don't know, Liz, but we'll find out, won't we?
It's no use, Mr. Wilder. I blame myself for all this. We should never have let a young girl like that come to a place like Market Square all on her own, and after dark.
I know, Mr. O'Hara. I feel exactly the same way myself. There's not much any of us can do. The police were supposed to be watching her day and night, but you know Miss Warwick, she's quite a determined young lady.
Just like her father. Though heaven knows why anybody should want to kidnap her.
Actually, Mr. O'Hara, there is something I've been meaning to ask you. You spent quite a bit of time yourself up at the Harshack tomb, didn't you, during the excavations?
Yes, I did.
Tell me honestly, if Sir Richard hadn't been forced to leave the country, would any further work up there have proved important?
To be frank, I don't think so. It was fascinating to find something above instead of actually in the Valley of the Kings, but...
But, in your opinion, it was not a Pharaoh's tomb?
No. If it was, I think the people from the Cairo Museum would have found something. They spent nearly 6 months up there after Sir Richard left.
Oh, yes, that's what I thought. Oh, well, we'll just have to sit tight and hope no harm comes to Miss Warwick. Can I give you a lift somewhere? My car's parked just on the other side of the square.
No, thanks all the same. I'm going to hang around for a bit, just in case they get any news of Elizabeth.
You're right. Let me know if they do, won't you?
I will. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Be careful of the traffic, Mr. Wilder. It's a bit mad round here today.
I will. Goodbye!
Mr. Wilder! Mr. Wilder! Mr. Wilder!
There you are, Mr. Villiers. I've been looking all over for you.
Yes, Mr. Pringle?
Ugh, I don't know how you can eat that muck. You wouldn't catch me eating at the hotel. I'm sure they make their tea with Nile water.
Then we won't ask you to join us for breakfast, Mr. Pringle.
Is there something I can do for you, Mr. Pringle?
Oh, no. It's what I can do for you, Mr. Villiers.
No?
You know, I've got an idea. I've seen that bloke you've been looking for.
What, John?
Round about 30. Brown eyes, a bit taller than me.
Yes, that's him.
Mr. Pringle, where was this?
Well, that's just it, you see. It was quite a coincidence, really. He was in that cafe I met you in the other day. The one in Marcus Square. What? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I had a drink with him.
You didn't mention us by any chance?
Oh, no. I thought I'd better check up with you first, just in case it wasn't him.
His name? Did he tell you his name?
Well, yes, he did, Mrs. Villiers. The only trouble is, I can't quite remember...
Barclay.
Maggie.
Brian Barclay.
Yeah. That's it. So it is the same bloke.
Oh, Charlie.
Mr. Pringle, please listen. How long ago was this?
Oh, no more than half an hour.
Was he still there when you left?
No, I'm afraid not. He was going back to his own place. He doesn't live in Luxor, see? Apparently he's got a small villa in the hills several miles the other side of Harshack. It's funny because it's nearly all sand and desert out there.
You've got to go, Charlie.
Do you know how to get there?
Well, yeah.
Would you come with me?
Please go.
Well, I warn you, it's pretty tough going. I mean, this bloke told me the last part of the journey he has to go by camel.
We could hire a couple of camels, surely.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Then with a bit of luck, we could be there and back by nightfall. Mr. Pringle, you've no idea how important this is to us. Will you come with me, please?
Mr. Wilder. Mr. Wilder, are you all right?
Yes. Yes, only just. What the dickens that maniac thought he was doing? Tearing through the square at that speed. Another half-inch, I'd have been killed.
Did you manage to get a look at the driver's face?
No, but he threw something out of his window at me.
Threw something?
Yes, a piece of stone or metal. Can you see it around anywhere?
No, I don't think so. Wait a minute, what's this? You're right. It's a bit of stone wrapped up. Mr. Wilder, you better take a look.
Why?
It's a note.
Let me see. Oh, no. I knew it.
What? Is it Elizabeth?
If you want to see Englishwoman live, go to the new mosque at half-day.
You're not going.
Of course I'm going. What else can I do?
Mr. Wilder, it's too dangerous. They're obviously holding Elizabeth for ransom. Besides, you can't go wandering into a mosque on your own.
I've got to try. If it's money they want, then we must give it to them. But I just can't leave that girl in the hands of a gang of cutthroats. Half-day, that's 12 noon.
But, Mr. Wilder, I beg of you, leave it to the police.
No. Now, listen to me, Mr. O'Hara. Whatever you do, please say nothing to the police. If they go anywhere near the place, we don't stand a chance. Will you promise nothing?
Well, if I have. But I don't like this. Will you at least let me come with you?
No. I must go to that mosque on my own. If Elizabeth Warwick is still alive, I have got to save her somehow.
Don't lie to me, sister dear. Do you really expect me to believe that Father worked all that time up at Harshack without finding out anything at all about the place?
The Harshack tomb is worthless. It's nothing more than a mirage in the middle of a stinking hot desert, and the sooner you realize that, the better.
Oh, really? Tell me, Liz. What made you come to Egypt?
I accepted an invitation.
From a man you'd never met or had any contact with. Isn't that a bit adventurous?
Fuad Yassif was a friend of Father's.
I'm told Father had a lot of friends in Luxor. Why Yassif? No, Liz. Let me tell you why you came here. You came because one day you knew you had to come. You were expecting that letter from Yassif.
What are you talking
He
about?
had his instructions. Immediately Father died, he was to write to you, make contact, and arrange for you to share a king's fortune.
A king's fortune? You surely don't mean that broken-down shack in the middle of nowhere.
The Pharaoh's tomb, Liz. The Pharaoh you're going to identify for me.
You must be out of your mind.
I've already found one other chamber, but there's not much there, I'm afraid. However, I'm sure you'll help me find the rest.
How many more times do I have to tell you? Father knew nothing about that tomb. All he ever had were theories. Oh, Michael, please. For your own sake, give up all this nonsense. If anybody catches you out at that tomb, you'll be shot.
Oh, don't be silly, Liz. I'm already dead. You know that.
There's a storm coming. If you want to get back to Luxor, you'll have to hurry.
Oh, come in, Yassif. We've just been having a little chat about you. My sister here tells me you were a friend of my father.
I'm not interested.
Yes, you two must have got on well together. It's what Father always wanted. A son who loved him.
Don't play games anymore, please, Michael. I know very well this man is not the real Fuad Yassif, so don't try and pretend that he is.
Oh, did you hear that, Fuad? My sister's calling you a liar. You, of all people. Really, Liz, you shouldn't talk to Fuad like that. He's a very sensitive person. Someone you can trust. Someone you can look up to. A true Arab. Isn't that so, Fuad?
The others are waiting for you outside.
Fuad, tell my sister she's wrong. Go on. Show her you're not scared of her.
Michael,
Or are you going to stand there like you always do until you crack like the shell of an egg?
Michael!
Go on, tell her how you weep if you have to look on the face of a dead man.
Stop this!
You're not Fuad Yassif. Why don't you tell her you're a fake?
Michael, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this?
He's weak! There's nothing I despise more in a man than weakness. Well, I must be off. I don't want to get caught in that sandstorm. It's such a strain on the eyes. Anyway, when I get back, we can have another little chat, can't we, Liz? Oh, don't worry. You won't be lonely. I'll leave your friend, Mr. Yassif, here to keep you company. I'm sure you two have a lot to talk about. Oh, and Liz, do have a think about what I said. If you do feel you have something I ought to know about, I don't mind waiting. If you don't.
Shut up, will you? Shut up. Never could bear camels. They remind me of too many people I know. They reckon they're so superior. Shut up, will you? Get up! Get up!
Charlie, do be careful. The tracks up in those hills are very dangerous.
Yes, I shall be quite all right. Just stay at the hotel and don't go out until I get back.
But you've never ridden on a camel before.
It's not the camel you have to worry about, Mrs. Villiers. It's what they carry about with them. Fleas.
Right. Shall we go?
Come on, get up, will you? Get up!
Which way?
Up there. The left fork.
Left, but that doesn't lead up to Harshak, does it?
Well, no. We have to go bypass Harshak, you know. We've got to get to the hills on the other side. But don't worry, it's a lot quicker this way.
We've got plenty of water?
Yeah, enough to sink a battleship.
Right. Let's go. Whoa.
Charlie, please.
What's that?
If you see him, if you see Brian, give it love.
I'll be back as soon as I can, Margaret.
Hey, for goodness sake, cover your head, Mr. Villiers. This sun's hotter than ever.
Another 20 minutes, I think the sandstorm will be over.
Does it matter? We're stuck here anyway.
It's no use blaming me, Elizabeth. It was not my idea to bring you here.
What sort of a person are you anyway to let him speak to you like that?
You heard what your brother said. I'm weak.
And that's enough to allow yourself to be humiliated.
I have no choice.
What do you mean you have no choice?
I mean, if I don't do what he says, your brother will kill me.
Kill?
And he would have no hesitation in doing the same to you, I can assure you. At times, he's quite mad.
Yes. But that doesn't mean he's a killer.
It did once. I see no reason why it should not again.
What are you talking about? Why should my brother want to kill anybody? Oh, no. Oh, not that boy, not the Villiers' son.
Lieutenant Barclay was not killed in action, Elizabeth.
I don't believe you.
You don't have to. But it happens to be the truth.
But why?
For the same reason that he would kill you or me or anyone else who got in his way. That is why you have got to tell him what you know about the Harshak tomb.
Who are you? If you hate my brother so much, why don't you get out? Why do you keep on working for him?
I didn't say I hate him. I am afraid of him.
Ah, you see, he was right. You are weak. Weaker than any man I've ever known.
Is it such a disgrace? Have you never been afraid of anything, Elizabeth? Never?
The storm's almost past. I can see the sky again. Look, Fuad, or whoever you are, if you really mean what you say, help me to get out of here. We could both be back in Luxor before Michael returns.
No, I'm sorry, I could not do that.
Why not?
Because I am weak.
You... Hypocrite!
Elizabeth! What are you doing? Where did you get the knife from?
By the window. You shouldn't have allowed that old woman to leave things lying around. Now, get away from that door.
No.
I warn you, I shall use this thing if I have to.
Very well. Well, go on. What are you waiting for? Look, I've opened my arms out wide. All you have to do is to press the knife into my ribs, here. What's the matter, Elizabeth? What are you waiting for? You see, Elizabeth, it's not easy to be strong, is it? Or weak.
Do not move, Englishman. No, do not turn round. You will keep the face turned towards Mecca.
Who are you?
It does not matter who I am. Why do you come here?
I was told if I wanted information about an Englishwoman, I should come to the new mosque at midday. Is it you I'm supposed to meet?
You are alone?
Of course.
Then listen to me, Englishman. No, do not turn around. Do you want to see your Englishwoman alive?
Naturally.
How do you know she's not already with death?
I don't. Isn't that why I came here? Do you know where she is?
Yes.
Well? For heaven's sake, man, aren't you going to tell me where?
What will you do for me?
Now, if it's money you
Money? I do not want your money. Only from you do I want that you take this woman away from Luxor, from Egypt. Will you do that for me, Englishman?
Why should I do that?
It is not for you to ask the questions. Will you do it? Or shall the woman die?
Oh, I'll do my best. But I warn you, if I find she's been harmed
Do you know the village of the White Scorpion?
Hazia? Yes.
Soon you will go there.
Soon?
When the Dervish begins to dance, but not before.
The Dervish? You mean they're going to take her there? But they'll kill her. You've got to tell me when. How do I find her?
When the Dervish begins to dance, you will go to the village of Hazia, and there you will...
There I will what? Hey, where have you gone? No, don't go, please!
Ah, there you are, Mr. Wilder.
Inspector Mahmoud, what do you think you're... How long have you been here?
For several minutes, but you need not worry, my men have surrounded Mosque.
You fools, you damned fools! Now, how the deuce do you think we're going to find Elizabeth Warwick? How did you know I was here?
Mr. O'Hara have great concern for you. He tell me about the note you have received.
Mr. O'Hara promised
It's too dangerous here for you, my friend. The mosque is holy ground. But you have met this man?
Oh, yes, I've met him. And thanks to you, have now lost him. And probably our only chance of saving Miss Warwick.
No. This man cannot leave Mosque without passing my men. All you have to do, my friend, is show me who the man is.
Show you? Take a look around you, Inspector. How many worshippers would you say there are here? 500, 600? Well, there they are. All of them wearing identical white, all of them bowing towards Mecca. So take a good look, Inspector. Tell me if you can see the man we're looking for.
A Face in the Crowd was the 5th episode of Kill the Pharaoh, a thriller serial in 8 parts by Victor Pemberton. Elizabeth Warwick was played by Sheila Grant, and production for the BBC was by John TYDEMAN. Kill the Pharaoh, a thriller serial in 8 episodes by Victor Pemberton. Elizabeth Warwick has been kidnapped by her brother Michael, whom she had thought dead. He insists that she knows the secret of the Harshak tomb at Luxor, but this she denies. Meanwhile, Mahmoud and Wilder, in their search for her, learn that she will be at a village where the whirling dervishes will dance. Kill the Pharaoh. Episode 6, At the Point of a Triangle.
Madness, sheer madness. What possible chance do you think we have of finding Elizabeth Warwick now?
Mr. Wilder, you should not have gone to the mosque alone. It is too dangerous for one who is not Muslim.
If you and your men hadn't followed me there, we would have found out a lot more.
But this man who has spoken to you in the mosque, you do not recognize?
Oh, don't talk nonsense, man. How am I expected to recognize someone who has his face covered in the middle of a host of other worshippers?
Well, the voice. Do you think you could recognize his voice?
I don't know. I just don't know. But I tell you this. If and when we do get that girl back, she's going to be put on the first plane to England.
No, my friend. I do not think I could permit.
I beg your pardon? You cannot permit. Aren't you forgetting something, Inspector? Miss Warwick happens to be a British subject.
Who must now be considered a security risk.
What?
With regret, of course. At first opportunity, she will be placed in our protective custody.
You mean you're going to arrest her?
We wish only for Miss Warwick her safety.
But safety? That lot you can do to save her once the Dervishes get her.
Dervish? What do you know of this?
I know they're a bunch of religious fanatics who stop at nothing to kill.
But what has this to do with Miss Warwick?
Well, the old man who talked to me at the mosque, he warned me that if I wanted to see the Englishwoman alive again, I would have to wait until the Dervish begins to dance. And this is going to take place in...
the village of the White Scorpion, Hassia.
You know?
There are still many who practice the dervish rites in this village.
But I thought it was illegal.
It is, and very dangerous for those who try to watch. You see, when the dervish begins to dance, his mind is no longer his own. He becomes immune to anything around him. He can feel no physical pain. It is like a state of hypnotism, or if you like, a trance.
Yes? What happens if someone tries to break the trance?
Mr. Wilder, the trance must not be broken.
How much further, Mr. Pringle? I don't think I can stand this heat much more.
We're just at the top now, Mr. Villiers. Once we reach that track, we'll stop for a breather. Then I'm afraid we'll have to ditch the camels.
What, you mean we have to go the rest of the way on foot?
Yeah, afraid so. It's a sheer drop on the other side of that peak. Camels couldn't make it.
Well, then how far?
Well, if this bloke's villa's where I think it is, we've got about another couple of miles.
Miles?
And I warn you, it's much worse than this. It's nearly all sand and open desert. Do you think you can make it?
Of course I can.
Well, all I can say is let's hope you think it's all worth it. Because if this bloke isn't the one you're looking... Hello?
What's wrong?
There's someone down there. Look, do you see? Look, behind you. Coming up the track.
Where? Oh, yes, that Arab. You think he's following us?
I don't know. We'll have to wait here and see.
Why, he looks harmless enough.
Yeah, maybe. That is, provided he's on his own.
Inchi!
Is it her?
Yes, quick, Mr. Wilder. Help me into the boat. Miss Warwick. Miss Warwick, dear lady. Can you hear me?
She's not dead.
No, I don't think so. Chloroform. She has been drugged. Dear lady. Dear lady.
Here, use my hat as a shade. Miss Warwick. Miss Warwick, are you all right? There are no oars. That means she could have been drifting for miles. Her kidnappers must have put her into the boat like this, but why?
We are lucky he have not capsized. The water has strong current. It was only the fisherman who has saved her.
We've got to get her out of this heat.
We shall take her to my office at police station.
Police station? What for?
To recover, Mr. Wilder.
Recover? In other words, she's under arrest.
Can you still see him?
No. Look, I've got a feeling he's hiding behind those rocks somewhere.
Why is he following us? We just can't sit out here all day. There's no shade.
I'm going down there.
I'll come with you.
No. Look, you better leave this to me, Mr. Villiers. I know these people. If there's any trouble, I shall know how to deal with him.
But if we're going to get to that villa before dark, we can't hold up for very much longer.
Look, I'll tell you what you do. Make your way up to that rock. Look, you see, there, on the left.
Yes?
Sit down and have a bit of a breather till I get back. If I come across any trouble, at least I'll know where to find you, won't I?
Very well.
Roo, get on!
Why are you doing that? Why are you getting rid of the camels?
Because we've no more use for them.
What on earth do you mean?
From now on, it's up to us. From now on, we're on our own, Mr. Villiers. Just the two of us. You and me. See ya.
Mr. Pringle! Mr. Pringle!
Frankly, I don't care what you think, Inspector. I've told you the truth about what happened to me last night.
So, you do not deny that you went to a cinema in the Marquess Square?
No.
Why? Do you speak Arabic?
Am I supposed to inform police headquarters every time I visit a cinema? As it so happens, I wanted to see what an Arab cinema was like.
And no doubt you have found out. You were kidnapped.
A bunch of thugs who thought they were onto a good thing. They found I had no money, so they let me go. It's as simple as that.
But they keep you for nearly 24 hours. You can explain that?
I presume they thought they could hold me up for ransom. They got cold feet, that's all.
No, Miss Warwick, not satisfied.
What do you mean you're not satisfied?
Really, Inspector, this has gone quite far enough. Miss Warwick has been under the most tremendous strain. You've no right to subject her to such an interrogation.
Please, Miss Warwick, now has come the time to tell me the real reason you have come to Luxor.
I told you why I came. For a holiday.
No, it's not the truth.
Inspector.
You have come to see the tomb at Harshak.
I really don't know what you're...
To try to find out what your father could not. Miss Warwick, your father knew that the tomb at Harshak was that of a pharaoh. Am I correct?
Inspector Mahmoud, I really think all this has gone... What?
He had no definite proof. Just a series of circumstances which led him to a theory.
What kind of theory?
That one day it will be proved the Harshak tomb is one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the century. Maybe even more important than Tutankhamun.
What?
Well, my father was convinced that somewhere in that tomb lies the sarcophagus of the king. If we can find that, we shall know the pharaoh's identity.
Such a find would be priceless.
Exactly, and so would all the other treasures.
All this is beyond me. Miss Warwick, why on earth didn't you tell us this was the real reason you were coming here?
Because I had to find that sarcophagus before anybody else. I want nothing from this other than to prove my father's theories. You've got to believe me, Inspector. I can assure you I'm neither a spy nor a propagandist. I happen to have loved my father very much. His work out here meant everything to him. All I want is the chance to prove that he was right.
Very well, dear lady. I will believe. But you still do not know how to reach the hidden chamber, even if it does exist.
I'm sorry, Inspector, you're wrong. You see, I do know.
Pringle, what are you doing here?
I've got someone waiting to see you.
Who?
Villiers.
Villiers? You mean you've brought him here?
Yeah, that's right.
Why?
He wanted to see his son. I thought I'd better find out if his son wanted to see him.
Where is he now?
The other side of the peak. He doesn't know he's only a stone's throw away from this place.
Good. You know what to do.
Right. Oh, by the way, did you put a tail on me?
Tail?
Yeah, there's a chap following me up the track. I didn't touch him just in case it was something to do with you.
No, he's not. Is he still there?
As far as I know.
Fine, leave him to me.
Right.
And Pringle, you're sure you know what to do about Mr. Villiers?
What do you think? Gosh.
Fuad, I want this place cleared by the morning. We're moving out.
Moving? But how can we? You haven't done anything about this.
Elizabeth, you needn't worry. That's been taken care of. And I must say, you do seem to have taken quite an interest in my little sister. Perhaps I'd better warn you, my friend. I'd sooner you didn't.
Where are we going?
That's no concern of yours, Fuad. Just obey instructions.
Maybe I won't go.
Maybe it won't be necessary.
You won't kill me.
No?
No. I am too useful. To you and to the police.
Dead men tell no tales, you know.
They don't have to. All they have to do is to write a letter. And then ask a good friend to post it. At an appropriate time, of course.
Good for you, Fuad. Do you know something? You're really beginning to improve.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But of course it is possible.
Well, I can't believe it. No, I just can't. You mean to tell us that the Harshack tomb was built to hold the remains of a pharaoh who was assassinated?
Oh, why not? Don't you see, Mr. Wilder, it all adds up. That fresco in the temple at Luxor. The arrow of the man behind pointing directly at the shoulders of the pharaoh. The scene depicts a royal murder. That's why the tomb was never completed. There wasn't time.
And the remains of the pharaoh were hidden in a secret chamber?
Of course, to prevent his enemies from desecrating them.
Remarkable.
But, even supposing the remains exist, how do we find them?
Let me go there and work it out for myself.
You?
My father firmly believed that if there was another entrance, it would have to be worked out mathematically. We can only do that by going to the tomb itself, and the sooner the better, tonight, in fact.
No, that's out of the question.
Why?
Because, Miss Warwick, we cannot afford to jeopardize your life anymore.
Oh, rubbish.
Dear lady, I would like to know why you have need of such urgency to find this sarcophagus.
Precisely. After all, the damn thing's been lying there a couple of thousand years. It can wait a bit longer.
That's just it. It can't.
Why not?
Because if you want the pharaoh to remain in Egypt, Inspector, we have to find the secret tomb as soon as possible.
You mean there are others after it as well?
I don't know.
Fuad Yassif?
I beg your pardon?
Yassif, the man who have invited you to come to Luxor. Does he also look for the pharaoh's treasure?
No, of course not. He's got nothing to do with it. Why do you ask?
No reason, dear lady.
Well, who's coming out to that tomb with me?
I'm dead against it.
Then we shall go alone, Miss Warwick.
No police, no soldiers. What we find alone.
All alone, dear lady.
Then you agree to tell no one?
No one at all. Not even my dear mother. Oh, Allah preserve her soul.
Achmed! Achmed! Oh, I've been looking everywhere for you.
Dear lady, do you not hear? It is time for prayer. I must turn to Mecca.
My husband and Mr. Pringle have gone up into the hills. They should have been back long ago. You've got to go and look for them. You've got to.
No, Mrs. Villiers. Not possible for Achmed.
But they could get lost in that desert.
Desert?
Mr. Pringle has made contact with my son. They went to look for him at a villa the other side of Harshack.
In the desert?
Yes.
I do not know such a villa.
But you must. Mr. Pringle says...
In the desert near Harshack. There are only the tribesmen. Not good to go there. They do not like many people. Very dangerous.
Then, Achmed, we must do something. I knew we couldn't trust Pringle. If he's let any harm come to my husband... Achmed, you've got to go after them.
No, lady. Achmed not go to desert.
But you've got to. You're the only one who knows the way. Oh, please, Achmed. I know something's happened to him. We can't leave Charlie all alone up there to fend for himself. He's not a young man anymore. He wouldn't know what to do in that type of country. It's almost dark.
I will not go to desert, lady.
Very well. I'm sorry to have disturbed your prayers. Oh, by the way, Achmed, whilst you're at it, you might say one for my husband. Because wherever he is now, he's going to need a few prayers.
Pringle! Pringle! Where are you? Oh, God! What am I going to do? I'm lost. I can't see a thing. Pringle! Don't leave me here! Please! Oh, Pringle! Is that you? Oh, thank God. I'm up here! Pringle, what are you doing? Why don't you come up? All right, if you won't come up here, I'll come down to you. Pringle! Help me! Oh, my leg! My leg! Pringle! Please, help me!
Mosquitoes. They are the curse of my life.
Inspector, what are you doing?
I am going to go into the tomb.
No, not that way. This is where everybody's been going wrong. This is not the real entrance.
Not?
Just stand still and think about it for a moment. Why do you think the ancient tomb robbers were never able to find the treasures of Tutankhamun.
I have heard it was because they found the much larger tomb of Ramesses VI.
Which partially obscured the bigger prize. Precisely. Then why shouldn't the same thing have happened here?
You mean that this tomb is some kind of a hoax?
Why not? You know as well as I do that the construction of a pharaoh's tomb often used to start shortly after his birth. Well, some of those tombs in the Valley of the Kings took a whole lifetime to complete.
But you say that this pharaoh, whoever he was killed by an assassin?
Yes.
Then his tomb was never completed.
Ah, that's what his enemies were made to believe. Well, I think differently. I think the pharaoh's body is in there right now.
But I still cannot see how.
Look, if the king's family didn't want his remains to be desecrated, surely the last place they'd dare risk putting him would be his own tomb. No, the tomb has somehow been divided.
So, when the pharaoh's enemies broke in, they desecrated the chamber because there was no treasure and no body.
Yes.
Then, dear lady, what you say must be right. Somewhere in the tomb lies the mummy of the pharaoh.
Yes.
But if the pharaoh's enemies could not find him, how can we?
By mathematics, Inspector. The ancient art of mathematics.
Wait a minute, can't you? Give me a chance. Don't you know what time it is?
Mr. Wilder.
Oh, it's you, Mrs. Villiers.
I'm terribly sorry to disturb you. It is Mr. Wilder, isn't it?
Yes, please, come in.
Thank you.
Well, what's the matter? What's happened?
You've got to help me, Mr. Wilder. You've just got to help me. It's my husband, Charlie. He's out there all alone.
What are you talking about, Mrs. Villiers? Out where?
In the desert, the Theban hills. I don't know. It may be too late to tell you. I do love him, Mr. Wilder. I really do love Charlie.
Now, please, try to calm yourself, Mrs. Villiers. Now, tell me why your husband went out to the desert. And if he's lost, we'll find him. You needn't worry about that.
You don't know. You just don't know. We're not like the rest of them. We didn't come to Egypt as tourists. It took us years to save for this.
Now, look here, Mrs. Villiers.
Don't call me that.
I beg your pardon.
Our name's not Villiers. It's Berkeley. Charles and Margaret Berkeley.
Yes. I knew that. But I think you'd better tell me about it yourself. Sit down, Mrs. Berkeley, please.
Oh, here you are, Mr. Villiers. I've been looking all over for you.
Pringle, you've got to help me. My leg, I think it's broken.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. You're in pain, aren't you? Now, didn't I tell you not to go wandering around on your own? And in the dark, too.
I fell down the slope. Don't just stand there, man. I've got to get a doctor.
Doctor?
Do you want me to die?
To tell you the truth, Mr. Villiers, I'm easy.
What? Pringle, what are you saying?
Now, just you lie still, Mr. Villiers. You're only making yourself more uncomfortable.
You planned this, didn't you? You left me without water, all alone. You wanted me to die. Why?
You know something, Mr. Villiers? There must be millions and millions of stars up in that sky. I've always wished I could have the time and patience to sit back and count them. Reckon that's something you'll be able to do between now and the morning. That is, if they let you. Bye.
Pringle! Bye. Pringle, where are you going? Pringle! Don't leave me! No! Please! Don't leave me!
Mathematics? Dear lady, I still do not know what this has to do with the tomb.
Look up there at the stars, Inspector. A whole universe of mathematical equation. Well, isn't that the way the ancient astronomers used to work? And the architects.
Architects?
Wasn't it the ambition of every Egyptian architect to create the perfect single shape, the triangle? Well, surely you have only to look at the great pyramids at Giza.
Of course, the triangle.
My father believed that the large passage inside this tomb was only one side of a triangle. And if we could just find the supreme point of that triangle...
The king's burial chamber.
Yes. There's no doubt that the architects who were commissioned to design this tomb had one major problem to face, and that was how to mislead an enemy who tried to break in and reach the king's remains.
And so, they have done it mathematically.
Right. If we're at the apex, let's say that the passage inside leading from this main entrance is one side of a triangle. Then what we've got to do is to find the other side, either to the left or to the right.
But there is nothing but miles of desert over there to the right. Sand, only sand.
What about over there, to the left?
Again, nothing. Except, could it be as far as the caves?
Caves? What caves?
The Hashak caves. No one ever goes there. It is the old Coptic burial ground.
How far?
Oh, not far. But I do not think it is the place. The people of the village do not enter because of fear. They talk of evil spirits.
Then that's the place to go. Come on.
But, Miss Warwick, suppose it's true. Suppose there are evil spirits. Be careful how you go, dear lady. It is not easy to see in here.
There's no need to whisper, Inspector. I don't think there's any fear of waking the dead. Could you shine the torch ahead of you, please?
Yes?
Is that a path?
No, I'm afraid we shall find nothing. The catacombs have not been used for years.
Extraordinary how still death can be. Oh, it needs no effort just to lie there, weighed down by a huge piece of stone.
The Copts were very remarkable people. Like the Christians in ancient Rome, they also had to die for their faith.
It's strange there are no wall paintings here either. The Coptic graves I saw in Cairo were much more decorated.
Dear lady, I think we must turn back. We shall find no entrance to the Hashak tomb here.
Oh, but if there is another side to the triangle, I'm positive this is just the sort of place we'd find it. You see... Oh! Inspector!
No, don't move, dear lady. Don't move. Are you all right?
Yes, but look. Did you see where the dog came from? Quick, the torch.
It's a passage. A small passage.
Quick, help me through.
Now, be careful, Miss Warwick. Be careful.
Oh, look, Inspector. This is not Coptic. There have been hieroglyphics on these walls.
Yes.
And they've been scratched out, do you see?
Extraordinary.
This is the other side of the triangle. I know it is.
Then if there is a burial chamber, it must be...
Inspector! Quick, come over here.
What is it?
All these rocks. It looks as though there's been a landslide or something. Oh, please help me to get up. The passage can't stop here. There must be something on the other side.
Very well, but I am coming with you.
Give me the torch. Oh, it's so dark up here. Whatever you do, don't slip down onto...
Miss Warwick, be quiet.
What is it?
Our voices, don't you hear? They are different. We are no longer in a passage.
Oh, my... Inspector, look. Look, down there.
Why, yes. It is the king's burial chamber.
And there's the sarcophagus.
Miss Warwick, come back. Be careful.
I can't bear it. We found it. We've actually found it.
Yes, but we are not the first. Someone has been here before us.
And the walls. Everything's exactly the same as in the other chamber. No hieroglyphics or paintings.
I am going to climb up to look into the sarcophagus.
Oh, no, please, Inspector. Let me. Whatever happens after tonight is up to you. But at least let me do this. For my father.
Then, take my hand. Now, careful. All right?
Give me the torch.
Can you see anything?
The top has been removed. Oh, this is extraordinary. How on earth could they... Inspector!
What's the matter? What is it?
There is a body in here. But But it's not the body of a pharaoh.
At the point of a triangle was the 6th episode of Kill the Pharaoh, a thriller serial in 8 parts by Victor Pemberton. Elizabeth Warwick was played by Sheila Grant, and production for the BBC was by John TYDEMAN. Kill the Pharaoh, a thriller serial in 8 episodes by Victor Pemberton. Released by her brother, Elizabeth Warwick returns to Inspector Mahmoud and tells him the secret of the Harshak tomb. Her father believed it to contain the burial chamber of a pharaoh, full of treasures equal to those of Tutankhamun. Together, Mahmoud and Elizabeth enter the tomb, and in it they find a body. But it is not the corpse of the dead pharaoh. Kill the Pharaoh. Episode 7, when the Dervish begins to dance.
Do you know this man, Miss Warwick?
Yes. Yes, it's Abdullah. It was his house I went to in the village of Hazia, soon after I came to Luxor. And for some reason, he's been threatening me ever since.
Abdullah?
But why? Why should anyone want to do a dreadful thing like this? And then just to leave him here in the sarcophagus, it's horrible.
Can you tell me for how long he has been dead?
I should say for no more than an hour. The body's still quite warm. He has 2 knife wounds in the back, and one must have pierced the heart. But how did he get in here? The same way as us, through the Coptic caves?
I think we are not the first to reach this chamber, dear lady. Nor was Abdullah.
You mean someone was waiting down here for him?
Perhaps. But now we have found one body. We must look for another.
The pharaoh. You think it's been stolen, the mummy?
Look around you, dear lady. Do you think at one time this was the resting place of a great king?
I don't know. Everything's so bare. Oh, it's big enough, all right, but the walls look exactly the same as the main entrance hall. You know as well as I do that there's hardly a tomb in the Valley of the Kings that wasn't found to be heavily decorated and was once full of royal treasures.
Yes.
And again, this extraordinary lack of hieroglyphics. On the walls, the ceilings, even on the... Inspector, quick, come and look at this.
What is it?
Oh, shine the torch a little lower. Yes.
It's a cartouche.
I thought so.
Do you recognize it?
Yes, I recognize it all right.
Then you know the dynasty. Which pharaoh?
Not a pharaoh, Inspector. This is the ancient mark of the assassin.
What?
Don't you see? This proves what I said was right. That fresco in the Temple of Luxor, the hunter. The arrow pointing at the pharaoh's back. This pharaoh, whoever he was assassinated.
Of course, that is why the tomb is not complete.
And why his family had to find a way of keeping his enemies from desecrating his remains. Which means, if the passage leading from the Coptic caves is one side of a triangle, and this chamber is the point of that triangle, somewhere there must be a connecting door which leads to...
To the main entrance hall.
A door which can only be opened from this side of the chamber.
As soon as possible, we must call the Department of Antiquities. I think Dr. Fuad is going to have some little shock. So now, all we have to do is find a pharaoh and his treasures. Where do we look, Miss Warwick? Where do we look?
I wish I knew, Inspector. Believe me, I don't.
You are the ones who have discovered the Harshak tomb, dear lady. You and your father. Now, you must accept what is to follow.
Follow? What are you talking about?
A pharaoh sleeps for 2, maybe 3,000 years. Now he is awake. He is awake, and the world must know.
Miss Warwick, is it true your father knew how to reach the king's tomb?
Miss Warwick, are you going to cooperate with the Egyptian authorities?
Please, gentlemen, let me get to my room.
Can you tell us the name of the pharaoh? Are you going to be allowed to leave the country?
Please, let me pass.
Miss Warwick!
Miss Warwick! Over here! Oh, Mr. Wilder!
Another little mess you seem to have got yourself into. Look, give me your hand, please.
Where are we going?
Don't ask questions, just follow. Right you are, gentlemen. Would you make way, please? Would you mind getting out of the way? Let us pass. Thank you.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought I was going to be lynched.
Think yourself lucky you weren't. Fell out for your blood.
Well, if you're going to start nagging...
A man's body was found in that chamber, and you had to be the one to lead the police straight to it.
What's that supposed to mean? That I was the one who murdered him?
Oh.
I think you're forgetting, Mr. Wilder, that I'm a doctor. I don't take lives, I save them.
But you can't deny you knew exactly how to get into that tomb.
Oh, don't be absurd. My father had a theory, and I made it work. What's so wrong about that?
Well, I'm warning you, Miss Warwick, that you're going to have quite a few answers to give, and not only to the authorities here in Luxor. Once the state security people hear about these reports out there, we're in for trouble.
I think international relations are your problem, Mr. Wilder, not mine. I'm no diplomat, even if that is what you're supposed to be.
What I am is nothing to do with you, Miss Warwick. Just think of me as, well, a friend.
Look, Mr. Wilder, I've been up half the night out of that tomb. Just tell me what you want me to do.
You can start by telling me what has happened to Lieutenant Brian Barclay.
Who?
A few hours ago, Mrs. Villiers came to see me. She told me that she and her husband are the parents of a Lieutenant Brian Barclay, a deserter from the British Army. He was in the same regiment as your brother.
So?
Yesterday afternoon, Mr. Villiers, together with a man called Pringle, went up into the Theban hills to look for his son. They have not returned.
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about it.
Then you've made no sort of contact with this Lieutenant Barclay?
Absolutely not. Why should I?
I don't know. All I'm saying is that if you have, you'd be well advised to tell me about it. You see, it's no longer just a question of a court-martial. The Harshak tomb has been robbed of pharaonic treasures, and I don't think I have to remind you that in this country an offence like that is punishable by law. Do I make myself clear, Miss Warwick?
So, dear lady, now you tell us your name is Mrs. Barclay, not Villiers. Is that correct?
Yes.
But for why have you kept this secret?
I was scared. If you caught up with my son, he'd have been sent straight back to a court-martial in England. I love my boy, Inspector. I'd do anything to try and persuade him to give himself up.
Of course. Mrs. Barclay, this man who called himself Pringle, what do you know of him?
I've never met him before we came to Luxor, but he seems to have been out here for quite a long time.
He is English?
Oh, yes.
Did you know that this Pringle was also in the British Army, in the same regiment as your son?
What?
A corporal, I believe.
But he never told us.
You are sure?
Well, of course. Then he must have known all along. All this time he's let us suffer.
Achmed Araby, you took Miss Elizabeth Warwick in your boat to the village of Hazia on the first day she was in Luxor.
Yes, Inspector.
Did you know that this man Pringle was also in the same village that day?
Achmed!
No, I did not see this man.
But you did know that the village was in flood?
Yes, but Miss Warwick...
that the people had left it because of the typhoid sickness.
But Miss Warwick made me go. I did not want to go.
Mr. Pringle was not the only person to wait for this lady in the village of Hazia. Achmed Araby, I am going to ask you a question, and I want for you to give me a correct answer. Do you know the man who have called himself Abdullah?
Yes. He was my friend. He did not wish to harm the English lady. He was the only man in village who wanted to protect her. Now, he's dead.
2 people have died in the fire at the house of Abdullah.
Yes.
Name them.
One was brother of Abdullah.
And the other? I want to know. Very well, Achmed Araby, I will tell you. The other man in the fire was the son of Abdullah, the boy we had made to think was Fuad Yassif. The boy who was really killed in the car crash in the valley 1 month ago.
Alive? My dear young lady, do you realize what you're saying?
I tell you, my brother Michael is alive. I've seen him with my own eyes. I wish I hadn't. Because he's changed. He's become nothing more than a sadistic bully, an animal.
But if he changed identity with his other young officer, What made him come down to Luxor?
The Harshak tomb. He knew there was money to be made there, but he daren't come as Sir Richard Warwick's son.
You mean he's been working out at that tomb all this time, completely unnoticed?
Well, it was quite easy, wasn't it? After all, the authorities just left the place to rot. And now he's got hold of the Pharaoh's mummy and probably all the treasures with it.
Yes, but even if he does have the mummy, surely it's no good to him until it's been identified. You said yourself all the hieroglyphics have been defaced.
All except for one small cartouche on the side of the sarcophagus.
Cartouche?
Inscribed with the ancient mark of the assassin. This Pharaoh was murdered, Mr. O'Hara, there's no doubt about that. But if I could just get a glimpse of that coffin, or even of the bindings, I know I could work out which dynasty it came from.
You could do that?
Well, I'm sure I could.
All right, Elizabeth. What you want to do?
First of all, tell me what you know about the Dervishes.
Dervishes?
Well, just before I was forced into another of my pleasant little dreams, I overheard Michael say something about the dance of the Dervishes. Now, if I could only find out where and when this dance was going to take place.
The village of the White Scorpion, Hazia.
Hazia?
They've been practicing the dervish rites up in that village for years. The police have never been able to do anything about it.
But do you know anything about this dance? When the next one's going to take place?
Yes. Tonight.
Tonight? Well, that means we'll have to go up there.
Go there? My dear child, are you out of your mind? Have you any idea what these devils are like? They're religious fanatics. They cut you to pieces.
We've got to take the chance. We can't let Michael get away with that fortune.
Leave it to the police, Elizabeth. For heaven's sake, don't get involved.
It's no use, Mr. O'Hara. I have no choice. Whatever I like to think, Michael is still my brother. I've got to try and save what little there is left of his conscience.
Yes, I know, but...
Mr. O'Hara, at this moment, I feel as though you're the only one I can really trust. Because you respected my father. So if you feel you're not able to do this for me, then will you do it for him?
I'll pick you up at your hotel at sunset.
Mathematics. Yes, gentlemen. Yes, that is an interesting conclusion. As you can see by this diagram, the Harshak tomb has been designed geometrically.
Dr. Fawcett, now that you have seen this new chamber, can you estimate the period of the tomb?
Very difficult. But to judge from the evidence, one can only assume that it is somewhere around maybe 16th or 17th dynasty.
But in your opinion, the tomb was built to hold the remains of a pharaoh.
Well, a pharaoh, his queen, a nobleman, who can tell? The only thing that is now clear is that the tomb itself was never completed.
Except that there is a sarcophagus, and in it there must have been a pharaoh's coffin. Surely all you've got to do now, Inspector, is to find the scoundrel who planned all this.
Do you refer to Lieutenant Barclay, the deserter?
Isn't it obvious?
Perhaps. But maybe we will know more after we have been to speak with Miss Warwick.
Miss Warwick? What's she got to do with it now?
My friend, even a thief knows that in order to find a fortune, you must first have someone who can recognize it. I think we must go quickly to the hotel.
Dr. Fawcett, if these people, whoever they are, if they did get away with that coffin, what would be its worth?
Mr. Wilder, on a quiet day, 25th November, 1922, the heart of the world stopped beating when two of your countrymen, Lord Carnarvon and Mr. Howard Carter, looked for the first time onto the golden face of a young pharaoh. Now today, Tutankhamun is at peace. The world can only come to look and to stare. No, Mr. Wilder, there is no money that would buy a pharaoh.
All right, pay them off. Each man 200 piastres, not a penny more.
Is not enough.
What do you mean it's not enough?
You are not only paying these men for their work, you are paying them for their silence.
I've never bought anyone's silence.
Perhaps you have never stolen a pharaoh's coffin before.
There! I hope it chokes you. Now get them out of here. We're leaving.
Leaving? It is not sunset for another hour.
Precisely.
But what about the people waiting for us in Asia? All the arrangements.
It's not our problem to worry about the arrangements, Yassif. We go to Cairo, not Hazia.
What sort of game are you playing? You planned this, didn't you? You are going to leave Elizabeth alone with the dervishes, aren't you? Your own sister!
Oh, stop preaching at me, will you? You've got a job to do, Yassif, and if you don't want to do it, you can stay behind and rot with your ancestors in the valley.
Listen to me, Michael, please. You have no hope of getting to Cairo with that coffin. If the police follow Elizabeth to that village...
Can't you get it into your thick head that it doesn't matter if they do? What? By that time, we'll all be in Cairo. You, me, Pringle, and one Pharaoh. You understand?
I only understand that if anything goes wrong, we are going to be put up against a wall and shot down like animals.
Then that's where you're wrong, my friend, because we're not going to get caught. And you know why? Because it's not our job to worry how something is going to be done. That's been taken care of. We don't give orders, Yassif, we obey them. So it's up to you. You'd better make up your mind once and for all. Are you coming with us, or aren't you?
Not in her room? Don't they know where she's gone?
At the reception desk over there. They think Miss Warwick have not been in hotel for over 1 hour.
Well, perhaps she's gone into the town to do some shopping.
Perhaps. But now we must be quick. As soon as possible, Miss Warwick must be put under arrest.
Arrest? What the devil for?
I have told you, for her own protection, Mr. Wilder. I believe she is now in even more danger than before.
But why?
Because she is unfortunate enough to be the only expert the two robbers can trust.
Do you mean she's deliberately working for them?
No, but in her efforts to prove her father's theory, she is unconsciously helping someone to earn a fortune.
The Pharaoh's identity?
Precisely, my friend. That is why we have to stop her before she's able to do this.
Well, yes, but tell me how. Apart from Berkeley and Pringle, we don't even know how many people are mixed up in all this.
How many? I think it would be more useful to know the name of just one person.
One?
Someone who has been working out such a plan for years. Someone we could trust. A person who we would not think twice about. Perhaps even a respected member of our community.
Inspector Mahmoud.
Yes, Mrs. Barclay?
Oh, what's happened, please? Please tell me what's happened. My husband's been gone for over 24 hours now. You must have some news.
I am sorry, Mrs. Barclay. My men have been searching the hills for many hours. They can find nothing.
But they must. Charlie's out there somewhere.
I can assure you we do everything possible.
Oh, yes, I'm sure you do. But you let that girl get away, don't you?
Which girl?
Oh, don't try and fool me. I know very well Elizabeth Warwick is mixed up in all this. She knows what's happened to my son.
Mrs. Barclay, have you seen Miss Warwick in the last hour?
Yes, I have seen her.
Where?
Well, I can't remember anyway. Who cares?
Mrs. Barclay, I think I should warn you. If you want to see your son again, you had best to tell us what have happened to Miss Warwick.
She's gone out to that village.
Village? What village?
Hassia?
That's the place. I saw her just before her friend came to pick her up.
Friend?
What was his name?
I don't remember.
Then for heaven's sake, try.
I tell you, that school teacher.
O'Hara?
Yes.
Quick, Mr. Wilder, we must go to the village of Hassia before it is too late.
But why?
To save the life of Miss Warwick. You have forgotten, my friend. Tonight, the Dervish begins to dance.
Keep your head down, Elizabeth. For heaven's sake, don't let them see us. All these villagers are members of the whirling dervishes. They're a law only to themselves. They'd kill us both if they knew we were here.
They look so strange, just standing there in a circle. Are they the ones who actually perform the dance?
Yes. Do you see? There are 12 of them. The idea is that each represents a different world. For a few minutes, they'll just stand there. They won't even move a muscle. And then, gradually, they sink into a kind of unconsciousness.
The beginning of the trance?
Yes. From then on, they surrender their minds completely to the will of Allah. One man will start the chant, and that's the signal for the dance to begin.
The music, it's so weird.
You've heard nothing yet. Once it gets going, you think it'll never end. Each dancer will start to scream, to yell, spinning on his feet like a top.
I hate this village. I feel as though I'm going to stifle. Oh, Mr. O'Hara, can't we move back a little further?
No.
But there's no sign of Michael.
Keep still! We're too late.
What is it?
Can't you see? Over there, the man on the left. He's raising his head. This is it, Elizabeth. This is it. The dervishes are beginning to move.
Turn that row off.
Why do we have to go the long way round? We should follow the river.
All the way to Cairo? No, that's precisely what a lot of people would like us to do. Then we'd be a sitting target for every soldier in the country. At least this way we can do most of the journey under cover of dark.
Maybe, but I still don't think we should... Police!
What? Where?
Dead ahead. Look, can't you see? He's just stepping onto the road, into the headlights.
Pull up.
I told you.
I said pull up.
He's coming towards us.
Keep your mouth shut.
But if he looks in the back of the lorry...
Shut.
Where are you going? What are you going to do?
Just stay where you are.
You fool! Do you know what you have done?
Let's go.
You'll have every policeman and soldier on our trail within the next hour. We don't stand a chance now.
It's quite all right, Yassif. I have 5 bullets left. If necessary, I'm quite prepared to use every one of them. Now, let's go.
What are they doing?
Whatever you do, Elizabeth, don't say a word. One false move from us, and we're both dead.
But there's no sign of Michael or Fuad.
This is the heart of the ceremony, Elizabeth. The sacred rites.
What's happened to them? Why aren't they here?
Look at the dancers. They're peering into a life after death.
I want to go.
A life where there is no death.
Mr. O'Hara, please.
A life where there's only glory and splendor.
They'll hear us.
A Pharaoh's life, Elizabeth.
What are you saying?
Didn't you hear what I said? I said a Pharaoh!
Mr. O'Hara, they've seen us. They're coming towards us. No.
But is O'Hara mad or something? Taking Elizabeth out to that village on the night the Dervishes danced.
Mad? No, I don't think so, my friend. Mr. O'Hara have lived in the country for many years. He knows the people maybe even better than me.
But why take her out there?
Who knows? Perhaps to look for a Pharaoh.
Well, do you think Elizabeth is being helped by O'Hara?
He was a friend of Sir Richard.
So was Fuad Yassif. We know what happened to him.
No, my friend, that is the point. I'm afraid we do not know. But what we do know is that Miss Warwick has something as valuable as perhaps the Pharaoh itself.
Such as?
Knowledge, my friend. Knowledge.
Which somebody's trying to buy.
Or to take.
But who? Who'd be willing to sacrifice somebody's life for the sake of a coffin full of old bones?
All of us, Mr. Wilder, believe me. Soldier, policeman, archaeologist, diplomat, yes, and even school teacher.
What does he want? Why is he staring at me like that?
Don't move an inch, Elizabeth. If you break the trance...
He can't be in a trance. His eyes are wide open.
He can't see you, I promise, but he knows you're there. He's in a different world, Elizabeth, a different life, and you are on the outside looking in.
What's he trying to do?
Perfectly still
But he's
now.
going to touch my face. Please, don't let him.
Don't bring him back to life, Elizabeth. Don't do it.
I can't bear this.
We are in the middle of the circle. We have to obey the will of Allah. We must.
No, I won't. I won't. I won't. I won't.
Well, Inspector, where are they all? I thought you said the Dervishes were dancing here.
I think not. There will be no more Dervish dancing in this village tonight.
Everything's so quiet, so still. Where have they gone? What the...
Quickly! Over there. It's a signal. My men have found something.
Where? Where? Good heavens, it's Villiers. He's been beaten up. Look at the state of him. Mr. Villiers, can you hear me? How did he get in this boat?
It was me.
You?
I bring him here.
Achmed, Araby.
Are you responsible for this?
Oh, no, Mr. Wilder,
No,
he
mister,
isn't.
no. I went with this lady to look for her husband in the valley. He was near some rocks, very sick.
The soldiers have been looking for this man all day.
But you knew exactly where to go, didn't you?
No, mister, no. At first I was not happy to go into hills alone. These people have bring Achmed much trouble. But then Abdullah, he was killed. Abdullah was my friend.
Charlie.
Maggie, listen. Gotta stop looking for Brian. He's dead.
I know.
That boy up there, he's not Brian. Too late.
It's all right, Charlie, don't worry, I know. I think I've always known. But I had to be really sure.
Will you ever forgive me, Maggie, for all these years?
We must forget now. We'll go home, Charlie. Home. You and me. We've got each other.
Maggie, I do love you. I need... You've got to believe me.
Charlie.
Mr. Villiers, can you tell us what happened?
I went up there.
Yes, Mr. Villiers. Where did you go?
They tried to kill me. They left me to die. I managed to follow Pringle to hut. Heard them talking.
Who did you hear?
Pringle and a school teacher.
School teacher?
Mr. O'Hara, I thought so.
Then he's the one who's responsible.
Miss Warwick in great danger. They're taking her.
Yes?
Where, my friend? To where are they taking Miss Warwick?
The city.
What?
The city of the dead.
City of the dead? What does that mean?
It means, my friend, that the Pharaoh has gone to the city of dead in Cairo.
Cairo? But we must stop them.
I'm afraid we are too late, my friend. You see, Mr. O'Hara have disappeared from the village, and with him he have taken Miss Elizabeth Warwick.
When the Dervish Begins to Dance was the 7th episode of Kill the Pharaoh, a thriller serial in 8 parts by Victor Pemberton. Elizabeth Warwick was played by Sheila Grant, and production for the BBC was by John TYDEMAN. Kill the Pharaoh. A thriller serial in 8 episodes by Victor Pemberton. The tomb of Harshak in the Valley of the Kings has been robbed and all its treasure removed. Elizabeth Warwick is also missing. Mahmoud and Wilder discover that she's been taken by her brother and O'Hara to Cairo. So they fly there to find them, in the city of the dead. Kill the Pharaoh. Episode 8, The Call of the Muezzin.
No, gentlemen, it's not possible. Every road and track from Luxor to Cairo has been watched by soldiers and police. Now, these people you are looking for cannot have reached the city limits.
Well, if this is so, Colonel Ritzer, why haven't your men picked up O'Hara and Miss Warwick? They left Luxor soon after sunset last night.
Mr. Wilder, between Luxor and Cairo are many hundreds of miles. Miles of desert and difficult country. Under such conditions, you can hardly expect us to find 2 people, and under the cover of dark.
Then we must now assume they have reached the city of the dead.
So? What does that mean?
It means, my friend, that we have a very great problem to face. The city of the dead is a vast cemetery, over 5 square miles.
5 square miles?
It will take my men days, maybe weeks, to search each one of those tombs. And you do not ask a Muslim to leave the tomb of his family at the point of a gun.
So, we must presume that the plan of these people is to smuggle the Pharaoh's casket out of the country. But even more important, now that they have got the casket into the city of the dead, how do they propose to get it out again?
Why, I would have thought that was obvious.
Oh, you think so?
Well, yes, you said the city of the dead is a cemetery, didn't you?
Correct.
Well, surely a funeral procession is quite a common sight inside a cemetery. Well, isn't it?
A funeral?
Of course, I don't know how you people do it out here, but surely all you need is a hearse, a carriage, a few mourners.
Sanrudin.
What?
Raoul Sanrudin, a national hero. His body is being removed from the cemetery today.
Where do they take it?
To the family shrine in Alexandria.
The port of Alexandria. So that is how they're going to do it. Colonel Ritzer, at what time is the start of the funeral procession?
At the call of the muezzin.
Sunset. Good. Then we still have time.
Time for what?
To stop the procession.
Stop the procession? Inspector, do you know what you are doing? You cannot stop the funeral procession of a national hero.
We must stop it before it is too late.
Late for what?
Because, my friend, if we try to spare a hero, we may lose a king.
You fools! You crazy fools! What have you done?
Done? I'll tell you what we've done, Elizabeth, my dear. We've resurrected Egypt, you and I. Bow your head, Elizabeth. You're standing before the golden casket of a pharaoh. You're very privileged to be received in royal audience.
You maniac!
I
How dare
offer a pharaoh eternity.
Eternity.
What's the matter with you, Elizabeth? Don't you trust me anymore? You did when we were in Luxor.
Before I knew what sort of person you really are. All those years you've been up at that tomb trying to disgrace my father's name. And you ask me to trust you.
Your father was a fool, my dear. And it's a pity, because he had the chance to be a very rich man, as you can see for yourself. Yasif, open the casket. Very good.
No, I don't want to see it.
Elizabeth.
I tell you, I want no part of it.
Don't be a fool. What difference do you think it makes to our precious father now?
You're mad. All of you, you're mad. There isn't a museum in the world would touch this casket.
Take a closer look, my dear. I'm sure you recognize pure gold when you see it.
Its value on the bullion market alone is enough
Bullion market? You wouldn't dare.
In 2 hours' time, the casket will be on its way to a private dealer. For obvious reasons, he'd be far more interested in the identity of the pharaoh than its worth in bullion. But if it should be necessary...
Listen to me, Liz. This is why I brought you to Egypt. I know very well Father had his own ideas about which dynasty that tomb came from, and the only person in the world he'd pass those ideas on to would be you. I beg of you, Liz, if you want to save that casket, name the pharaoh. Don't kill him. Fuad, open the casket.
Yes.
All right, Liz. Now, who is he?
What's she laughing at? Did you hear what I said? What is she laughing at?
And is this the tomb of Sanruddin?
Yes, we have to get inside there before the start of the funeral procession.
Look, Mahmoud, you can't open up somebody's coffin in full view. These people will lynch you.
We shall be quite protected. I have given instructions for the gates to be kept locked until after we have left the cortege.
What's happening?
It is the last moments before sunset. For the Muslim, they are sacred moments between only himself and Allah. Soon we shall hear the call of the muezzin.
This is agony for you, isn't it? How can you bear to interrupt such a moment of dedication when you yourself are a Muslim?
I will tell you, my friend. Yes, it is true I am a Muslim. But like the great Pharaoh himself, not only am I Muslim, I am also an Egyptian.
No, what's the matter with you all? Are you too scared to face the facts?
She's lying, I tell you. She must be. This is a pharaoh.
And I tell you, you're wrong. If you don't believe me, look at the bindings on the mummy yourself. And look at this necklace.
What's wrong with the necklace?
The same as with the casket itself. It is not pure gold.
Don't listen to her. It's a trick.
Can't you see the metal is inferior? No royal house would have used anything like it. And look here. Each plate of the necklace contains an identical image. The goddess Sekhmet, the symbol of vengeance. This man's life, whoever he was taken in revenge. He's probably just a commoner.
Are you trying to tell us?
I'm trying to tell you that you've been wasting your time. Neither the casket nor the mummy inside are worth more than a few £100 at the most.
It's a trick, I tell you.
Mr. O'Hara! Police!
What?
They're all over the place. Mahmoud's in the crowd near Sanruddin's tomb. He's got that bloke Walter with him.
I told you we should never have come here. We're trapped.
Get the casket into the hearse, quick. Everything stays the same. We'll use the south gate of the cemetery. If necessary, we can blast our way through.
What about her?
Oh, yes. Elizabeth. Well, Mr. Pringle, I'm sure I can rely upon you to make the young lady your special responsibility. Come on, let's get the hell out of here.
Right, Miss Warwick. Shall we go?
Go where?
I thought we might go up to the top of the minaret. We don't want to miss the signal, do we?
Signal?
The muezzin, Miss Warwick. It's almost time for the muezzin.
It's gone. The sun, do you see over there? It's almost completely disappeared behind a tomb.
Yes.
Everything's turning deep red. Beautiful. What happens now?
Now we must wait.
What for?
Shh. Listen.
I can't hear anything.
Listen.
The call of the muezzin.
Kneel down, my friend. Kneel down. We must turn the face towards Mecca. Look, they are opening the doors of the tomb. The funeral is going to begin.
One thing about these minaret things, get a marvellous view from up here. Come on, Miss Warwick. Come and have a look over the edge. You can't see anything from back there. Well, come on. You're not scared of me, are you?
No, Mr. Pringle. I am not scared of you.
No, of course you're not. You're pretty tough, aren't you? Just like your old man, so they say.
Would you mind telling me how long we're expected to stay up here?
What, bores already, Miss Warwick? With all the racket that's going on out there, just listen to it. That's how they call them to prayer, did you know that? It's not the only thing they're calling them to, if they only knew it.
Where are they taking the casket, Pringle?
Casket? What casket's that, Miss Warwick?
Don't be a fool. You could be a very rich man without stealing a pharaoh.
Do I smell a bribe?
I merely think you have more intelligence than the others.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Miss Warwick. Let's talk this over.
I'm warning you, Pringle. You put your hands on me and I'll tear you to pieces.
It's a long way down to the bottom, Miss Warwick. We don't want you having no accidents now, do we? Come on. Let's see how really tough you are. You little... My face! You scratched my face! All right. I'll show you just how I can... Allah! What the... Allah! You? What are you doing up here? Allah! No! No! Get away from me! Allah! Do what I said! No! Get away from me! Get away from me!
You can't do it, Mahmoud. You just can't do it. You can't open that coffin in full view.
I will not exchange the pharaoh for the body of a dead hero.
But we can't even be sure they have swapped the pharaoh's body. Please believe me, Mahmoud, this is madness. If the crowd get through that gate...
The gates are locked.
You hope they're locked. What is it? What's happening?
Keep still. Don't let them see us. Here comes the coffin. Now. Let them go. Just a little further.
No, Mahmoud, for heaven's sake, no.
Mathie Karek! Yahas Mathie Karek! Mr. Wilder, over here, quickly. I am going to open the coffin.
Fuad Yassif! You killed Pringle to save me. Why?
I had to. O'Hara left instructions for Pringle to kill us both. You first, and then me. I had to stop him.
I don't believe you. Why should you kill one of your own men to save me? Why don't you give up this pretense and tell me who you really are?
I am Fuad Yassif.
Did you hear what I said? I said give up the pretense.
Elizabeth,
Fuad Yassif loved my father. He'd never have agreed to work for two criminals like O'Hara and my brother.
I had no choice. They came out to my village many times to try to get me to work for them. Each time I refused. I did love your father. He was a real friend to me.
And that's why you agreed to help discredit his name?
I told you, I had no choice. It was because of accident.
Accident?
There were 2 of us in the car in Valley of the Kings. I was driving, but I was not to blame for his death. Someone had interfered with engine of car. You've got to believe me, Elizabeth.
Go on.
There was a crash. My friend was killed. When your brother found out, he blackmailed me. He threatened to go to police unless I agreed to work for him and Mr. O'Hara. I had no idea they'd been working up at that tomb, that they had found the Pharaoh.
What work were you expected to do?
I was to write to you, bring you to Luxor. But to everyone else, Fuad Yassif was the one who died in the crash.
Who was the other person in the car?
His name was Ali, son of Abdullah.
Abdullah? But he tried to kill me.
No, Elizabeth, no, it's not true. He didn't know what he was doing. Abdullah hated anyone who was my friend. To him, I was responsible for his son's death. He could never understand that my grief was as much as his. And always will be.
You say you loved my father?
Always, yes.
Then tell me where they're taking the Pharaoh.
Across the border.
Then we've got to stop them before they reach the cemetery gate.
Stop them? No, Elizabeth, we are too late. The funeral procession has already begun. There is nothing we can do to save the Pharaoh now. Nothing.
For heaven's sake, hurry up, man. In a few minutes, they're going to tear down those gates and us with them.
Nearly. The lid of the coffin is nearly open.
Oh, my. It isn't the Pharaoh.
Oh, we were wrong. This is Sanrudin, the hero.
Now we're really in trouble. Where do we go from here?
Miss Warwick!
Elizabeth, where the hell have you been?
It doesn't matter, Bertie. You've got to hurry. You've been tricked. This whole funeral has been used as a decoy.
Dear lady, how do you know this?
I've got Fuad Yassif with me.
Yassif?
You've only got half an hour to stop them. They're making their way across the border.
Of course. Dear lady, make your way to police car at the east gate. We shall meet you there in few moments. But be careful! Be careful!
Can't you make this thing go any faster?
You don't break the speed limit in a funeral hearse.
We'll never make that airstrip in time. It's after past now.
Don't worry, we'll make it.
This crank who wants the Pharaoh, suppose he doesn't turn up. How do you know we can trust him?
When you talk about £100,000, you don't have to trust people. Either they want it or they don't.
What's up? Why are you slowing down?
Police.
Police?
Don't be a fool. Put that gun away. He's not stopping us. He's waving us on. Don't you understand when someone's paying their last respects to the dead? Even the law.
Abu Garitz. Ah, yes, here it is on the map. Looks quite a way.
The other side of the step pyramid at Saqqara. I don't know this place.
Apparently it's an old RAF airstrip. Oh, you've been out there, haven't you, Fuad?
Oh, yes. Your brother and O'Hara are going to be picked up by helicopter.
Who is going to pick them up?
He is a dealer from America. He is willing to pay £100,000 for Pharaoh's mummy and casket, but only if Pharaoh can be identified.
And what happens if he can't be?
Even the gold alone would be of much value.
At what time is this meeting with the helicopter?
At 1 hour before the early call of the muezzin.
Before sunrise. Then we must not delay. It will take some time to reach Abu Garis. The roads out there are not so good. Miss Warwick, before we go, one question, please.
Yes?
You yourself have now seen the mummy of the Pharaoh. Now, can you tell us his name?
Yes. Yes, Inspector. I think I can.
Why the hell do we have to rendezvous in the middle of a desert? It's cold.
It's the night air. It's to be expected this time of year.
Well, at least let's turn on the headlights. I can't see a damn thing.
Do you want to lead the police straight to us? In a few minutes, we'll be on our way.
It's almost on the hour. Where's this helicopter, then?
It'll be here, don't worry.
And what about the others? Where are they?
Others?
Pringle, Yassif, Elizabeth. You said they'd be here before us.
Does it matter when they get here?
What do you mean, does it matter?
We've got what we set out for, haven't we? We've got the Pharaoh.
What's happened to Elizabeth? What have you done with her?
Your sister won't be joining us.
What? What did you say?
She's no more use to us. You said so yourself. She tricked us.
You?
Take your hands off me.
What have you done to her? Tell me what you've done to her.
Remember what you told me. She's like your father, just like your father. She tricked us.
No. It was you who tricked me. All those years up at that tomb, you made me believe I could trust you.
You can, Michael. I promise you, you can. Think what we've achieved together, you and me. Something no man has done since Howard Carter first set light on the face of Tutankhamen. We discovered a pharaoh, Michael, a golden pharaoh.
I'm going to kill you, O'Hara. I'm going to kill you.
Michael, listen.
It's no use. Don't try and stop me.
I said listen. They're here. Michael, they're here. Put on the car headlights. Hey, here we are. Here we are.
Over there.
Where? I can't see.
There in the middle of the airstrip. Don't you see? O'Hara's getting the coffin out of the hearse.
And the helicopter right on time.
The damn fools are getting themselves shot to pieces.
Michael! Michael!
Can't somebody do something to let them know we're here?
That will not be necessary. We are too late. Do you see? The soldiers have already arrived.
Come on, man, don't just stand there. Help me with the casket.
No. Leave it alone.
Leave it? What are you talking about?
The Pharaoh stays behind.
Behind? Are you out of your mind or something? After all we've worked for.
Worked?
What's the matter with you, man? Don't you want the money?
You did this to spite my father, didn't you? That's why you had Elizabeth killed.
Your father? You hate your father. You always hated him. You told me. Michael, listen to me. You never wanted to be second best, remember? Well, now's your chance. You don't have to be. They'll always remember that you're the one who found the Pharaoh, not your father. They're going. The helicopter, they're going. Come back! You fools, come back! Gone. They've gone. You fool! Do you see what you've done? They've gone!
Yes.
We're stuck here. You and me and the Pharaoh. Don't you realize what you've done?
Oh, yes. I trusted everyone except those who trusted me.
What's that? Soldiers! We're trapped. Michael, we're trapped.
Stand out of the way.
What are you doing? Don't be a fool, man. Put that gun away. You fire one shot and they'll mow us down. No, Michael. No!
Are they dead?
I'm sorry.
It's all right. That's how it should be. The only thing is, I wish I could have spoken to Michael just once more. It's quite ironic, really. I didn't have the chance to tell him that he'd grown to look exactly like Father.
I'm sorry it had to be someone so close to you.
Oh, don't pity my brother, Mr. Wilde. Save your pity for Mr. and Mrs. Barclay. They're the ones that have had to suffer a dream all these years. A dream that one day they'd see their son again alive.
At least he wasn't the deserter your brother made him out to be.
That's true.
The helicopter has been intercepted and we have the pilot under arrest. Oh, dear lady. What can I say? I have deep distress for you.
Then please don't. Remember, Inspector, you have your Pharaoh.
Ah, yes, the Pharaoh. I think maybe now he will go to the museum in Cairo to lie in state in the chamber of the royal mummies.
Do you think that's wise? I mean, considering this is not the mummy of a pharaoh.
What? Dear lady, what is this you say?
The Harshak tomb was a pharaoh's hoax. My guess is that it was built to convince the pharaoh's enemies that he was dead.
You're very sure of yourself. How do you know all this?
Just inside the coffin, there's a cartouche inscribed at the head of the mummy. This is identical to the one we found scrawled on the side of the sarcophagus in the Harshak tomb.
The mark of the assassin.
Precisely. Now then, this matched up quite naturally with the fresco of the hunter in the Temple of Luxor. The unknown figure pointing an arrow at the Pharaoh's back. So the only possible conclusion we could draw was that the Pharaoh, whoever he was, had been assassinated and placed in the sarcophagus at Harshak. Or at least, that's what I thought, until I saw the necklace round his neck.
Necklace?
Each piece contains the inscription of the goddess Sekhmet, the goddess of revenge. I don't believe it was the Pharaoh who was put into that sarcophagus. It was the body of the assassin himself.
The assassin?
Of course, I can't be sure. After all, what archaeologists can be. But the whole thing is like a vast jigsaw puzzle. A tomb without wall decorations, hieroglyphics, treasures. In other words, everything defaced by the very person who was going to lie there himself. No, gentlemen, this is a man I would love to have known. A practical joker with a sense of humor.
You mean a sense of the macabre?
Perhaps. But at least he achieved something that most of us would love to be able to do. He gave up life without actually dying. With or without a name, I think the world is going to remember this Pharaoh.
But to think of your brother at O'Hara digging out of that tomb all these years, just for this. Oh, well, I suppose even the mummy of an assassin would have brought in £100 or so.
Dear lady, our country owe you much gratitude. I hope maybe you will come back one day to Luxor to finish your father's work.
Thank you, Inspector. But my work is in London and I must go home. Mr. Wilder, would you take me back to the car, please? It's almost dawn and I must get some sleep.
Of course, Elizabeth. What about you, Inspector?
No, I will follow later. I want first to take another look at Mummy.
Then I'll say goodbye.
Dear lady, you are a most remarkable person. Mahmoud will not forget you.
And I won't forget you, Mr. Mahmoud. Goodbye.
Well, now, my friend, sleeping in your coffin, let me look at you. You know, I think maybe they have forgotten one thing. You may take away the body of the Pharaoh, but not the soul. And do you know why, my friend? Because the Pharaoh was and is Egypt. And may the Lord Allah always let it be so.
The Call of the Muezzin was the 8th and final episode of Kill the Pharaoh, a thriller serial by Victor Pemberton. Elizabeth Warwick was played by Sheila Grant. Production for the BBC was by John TYDEMAN.